I have now generated over $50 million plus in email revenue for e-commerce brands. And in this video, I'm giving away all of my strategies for free. But please be aware, this isn't going to be a 20-minute breakdown. This is going to be the full A to Z guide on everything that you need to know to start making money and scaling with email marketing. Because most people just set up a few flows, send out a few campaigns, and then they never touch email marketing again. But I don't want that to be you. So I am going to show you the entire system that we've used to generate over $50 million in email marketing revenue, all in one video. We're going to be covering absolutely everything from setting up flows to building your list with a good high converting pop-up form, sending out your newsletters, and even designing emails themselves, plus a whole lot more. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. So I have got a ton of different pop-ups that we've done here across the board, but today the main one I want to focus on is the quiz funnel pop-up. Now, I've actually gone ahead and pulled out two quiz pop-ups to show you two prime examples as to how this looks on a completely separate Figma board. Now, first of all, what we've done on step one is we say, congratulations, you've got a mystery offer. To reveal your offer, tell us what excites you most about Let Loose. And then these four core benefits here of the product, because the product obviously helps with constipation, anti-bloating, gut health, and then also build up of waste, right? It's like a detoxification health product. Now, these are obviously the core pain points as to what people are gonna be feeling who need this product, okay? We really wanna establish this. Now, the reason we're asking them this question and having more of like a gamified quiz incentive is because it's creating some form of micro commitment. Once they've told us this, they're more likely to finish the entire series. Now, once they've clicked on one of these, we go ahead and say, you've unlocked 10% off, enter your email below for your exclusive discount. They'll then give us that email and click continue. The next thing we go ahead and try and capture is that SMS. Now, the reason you want to do the SMS after the email is because if they decide, you know what, I don't want to give you my phone number because some people find it a bit more intrusive, there's a lot more friction with phone numbers, then we've already captured that email, okay? So that's why you want to do it in that order of importance. Then if they do go ahead and give us their phone number, we say, enjoy 10% off your first order, check your email for all the details for your personalized discount. That is the entire 4-step quiz funnel that we've got here. We've also done it on mobile, and it's a little bit of a different design because with mobile, obviously the screen estate is vertical versus desktop, which is more of a horizontal landscape. So you always want to have two separate pop-ups, one for desktop and one for mobile. You never want to have a universal one because it's not going to give the same effect. Now, let's actually break down what creates a really solid quiz funnel. First of all is the copy. So what makes a strong question? Now, the thing you want to focus on here is being customer focused, okay? So an example here would be, what is your number one skin concern? That's customer focused. Whereas if you're being brand centric, you say, which products are you most interested in? They don't necessarily care about the products per se. They care about what's in it for them. What are you struggling with? What are your desires? That's what we want to find out and sieve through to get that information that we can then utilize later to have personalized flows and personalized campaigns. Next thing to assess is, are these questions that we're asking enabling us to tag users and segment them that we can then later market to? So for example, a fitness brand, what's your current goal? Is it to build muscle, lose weight, or stay active? This of course enables us to give us that segmentation, which we can then align with that core messaging based on our desires and goals, okay? 3 points here. Obviously, you want to keep it short and easy to answer. 3 to 5 questions max. Any more than that, it's going to feel like a daunting survey and it's not going to be fun and friendly for the user. Second to that is benefit orientated language. So phrases and questions like, instead of pick a style, you want to ask them which vibe matches your personality, okay? Next up would be pattern interrupt and making it fun and friendly. So the best quizzes feel like BuzzFeed style, mini personality tests, not boring surveys, okay? So for example, for a coffee brand, it would be pick your perfect morning vibe, okay? That's how we create good, compelling copy. And we've done that here, you know, we've got it so that we can actually segment them later based on these core pain points. Next up, what makes an offer strong and compelling? So what you want to do is just align with the quiz's outcome. The offer should feel like a reward for completing the quiz, not a generic discount, okay? So an example here, we just say like, here's your personalized skincare routine, plus 15% off your first product. It's personalized, it's tailored, that's your reward, okay? Next up is exclusivity positioning. Instead of maybe like 10% off, it says unlock your custom bundle, as personalization is going to increase your conversion rate. Again, does come down to the brand and what you're able to actually provide. Of course, with this one, we've literally just put 10% off, but we still made it personal and said, you know, check your emails for all the details of your personalized discount, okay? Last thing to mention, for non-discount brands. So when working with premium brands, you don't just want to race to the bottom with discounts. We can alternate offers. Maybe it's free shipping, exclusive content, early access, mystery gifts such as digital products, or it could even be like points or credits that they can use on the store. That's how to create strong copy with the quiz funnel, and that's how to obviously tailor your offer to make it personalized and powerful. cool. Another prime example of how you can actually use these flows is with brands that have got multiple customer bases. So for example, this brand here, same methodology in terms of unlock your mystery gift. Yes, please. Then we say, what are you interested in? Are you looking for home gym products? Is it for commercial? Do you have a gym? Or is it for PT? Okay. That's how you want to go ahead and segment this based on that funnel. But the thing is, there is still a lot of testing that needs to be done if you want a pop-up to convert as high as possible. And if you don't want to go through all the testing yourself, you can literally click the first link in the description and book in a call with my team. We've literally helped brands like Native Smokes go from 0 all the way up to 500K per month using these exact strategies. So if that's something you're interested in, just book a call below. But either way, even with the best copy, you can still kill your conversion rates with bad design. See, people make quick decisions, and if your pop-up looks sloppy, they'll close it before they even read your question. That's why your design should make it easy for people to go from one step to the next. And you do this by making certain elements stand out. So here's exactly how. So how do we actually go ahead and create a pop-up? Now, what you need to know is the dimensions. Of course, for desktop, it's 1366 for the width, and the height is 850, okay? If you want to do a pop-up on mobile, it's 500 by 600, okay? Now, first thing first is obviously your headline. What is your messaging going to be? So if you look across here, we've just put, congratulations, you've got mystery offer. Pretty bog standard. You can literally just copy that, okay? So we could literally just copy this text. I'm not going to bother creating this out. We'll just copy this text across, copy that, and we'll just paste that in here. And the good thing with Figma is you can literally see the center. See that orange line in the middle? That's dead center. Now, for the call to action buttons, you just come down here. You can choose a rectangle, like I've got here, and you just drag it across, okay? Just make sure that's centralized here. I can then come across these corner radiuses, and I can put like 300. It's now rounded. If I want to change the colors and match your branding, I can do that like so. For example, we've got the orange here, and this call to action button looks a bit too big, so we're just going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. And then you can press the option button on Mac, or it should be like Control Alt. Don't know what it is on Windows, actually, ignore that, but just copy and you can paste it. Or again, if you're on Mac, you can just drag it with the option button like so. And then we've just got our 4 call to action buttons here, okay? Just going to quickly grab the text as well. And as you can see, I'm just copying the text from over here and I'm bringing it across. And then let's just paste that down here. Why is it not letting me paste it? There we go. Now I can just drag this text, put it in the middle of the button like so. And you can see how easy it is to actually align this with the middle when you're on Figma. There we go. And again, it looks a bit clunky, a bit big. Let's just make this a little bit skinnier, make it nice and long. And then I can literally just go ahead like that. Okay, make it a little bit longer. Cool, perfect. Now I'm not quite happy with the actual space in here. So I'm just gonna make these a little bit closer together. And then we're gonna grab all of those, put it in the middle here. Perfect, so this is our base. Now, if I wanna get the colors from this pop-up, all I need to do, get rid of this image here, click the I button on Mac to get the color code. And you can see I've got this color here, right? Then I'm gonna come across and just fill the entire background with that hex code, like so, okay? And this is obviously the base with the headline, with the call to action buttons. The main thing we wanna focus on here is the headline readable. Can I visually just look at this on a quick skim and see what this is about? Yes, it says, congratulations, you've got a mystery offer. Great. With the call to action buttons, these wanna stand out like a sore thumb. As you can see here, they're literally polar opposite colors, blue and orange. So this is really good for conversion because it stands out like a sore thumb. So what we can do now that we've got this baseline here, we're just gonna go ahead and use some assets that I've done before here. The color wave, again, this is just to do with our branding, bring that across like so. And then let's just move this all up as well, like so, okay? So this is where we can get creative with it. You could add different assets in. I'm just gonna take one of these bottles quickly now and just put one there and then just another one like this. Let's make it a little bit bigger like that, right? So we're getting there, looking a bit more creative. Now there's actually the pills in the bottle. So I wanna steal some pills like we've got them here. Take that down, I'm gonna take that one. Can I grab that one as well? No, but we're gonna, all right, I clearly can't take that one. So we're just gonna take this one here on the left and then let's just paste in some pills here. Rotate that a little bit and let's actually just put one down here, okay? Now let's go over to the website, see if we can get some inspo for some other assets we could put on here. That's why. So let's actually add some UGC on here and do that. Now I can actually remove the background here, which is what I'm gonna show you how to do now. You click on the image, click remove background, and now we've got her on her own. Remove that like so. Okay, it's not giving the effect that I wanted. Let's do this one here instead. Come back, that's a bit better. Remove that image. Okay, I'm gonna move this all as well. So let's actually flip that horizontally like so. Move that pill as well. So let's make that a little bit smaller. It's looking a bit crowded over there. There we go. So like, obviously this isn't perfect. This is just a little example to show you what you can do and how quickly I can gather assets, put them on the screen, make it look fun, engaging, on brand. The main thing we want to focus on is obviously the text with the headline and the offer. So like the questioning here and then the call to actions. Don't want to want to overcomplicate it. You want to keep it nice, simple, and straight to the point. Perfect. But we can't just stop there, because you need to set up triggers and timing for when your pop-up appears on screen. See, most people either have it show up too early and annoy everyone, or they show it too late when people are already leaving, which can easily cost them hundreds or thousands of subscribers. So here's exactly how you set them up correctly. So I'm just going to show you how to set this up right now. What you want to do is edit content, or if you're starting a new form, go over to sign up forms. You're going to create a new form, right? This is the current form that we will be using to basically set it up. So the background, you want to go ahead on your styles, as you see here, and you just want to have the pop-up as the entire background. You're just going to upload that image as an entire background. Now for all these different text blocks here, some are text blocks. What you would do is obviously click on the actual text block, and how you would add this in is through adding these blocks here. So you just literally drag in text block, or if it's an image, just like this image here for this text, you'd add in that image, right? Now for the buttons at the bottom, you'd obviously add in the buttons. Now you just want to make sure this is aligned with what's on Figma. So you'd have to go back to your reference here, for example, on here. So for this text here on these buttons, you just want to make sure it's aligned with the typography that we've got here, and you're just going to build it brick by brick. So for the buttons, I'm just going to show you how to do these, and you want to make sure it's the same color button. So I've already got the hex code here. How you do that is you would grab the actual button, as you can see on the frame here, and you would just take that hex code. Now for the text, again, let's just copy this text. Let's copy the constipation one because that's first. Bold 22 DM Sams. So we'd come over here, we do bold 22, and then it's DM Sams. And just make sure it's DN Sans, okay, and obviously it's bold, so we'd put it on semi-bold, okay. Now for the button style, you just want to click on the actual button itself. So if I come back to the frame here, you can see corner radius is 55, okay, 55. So now we've got rounded corners. And now how to actually change the length of this button and make it match? Well, you want to go down to the block padding first of all, and we're going to click on individual padding. Now for this one, I believe it's 175. Let's just try that out. 175, and then 175, okay. For the height, 55. And then what you can actually go ahead and do now is just duplicate this. So let me go on here, come back, click on the button. Okay, it's not letting me duplicate. Let me add in a new button. And then we're just going to repeat the process of this and just keep doing exactly what we've done in that process. So just update the style and go through it like this. 55, height 55, 22, DM Sans. Let me do it again. And then also the last one here. Okay, and that's pretty much the setup for the design. I didn't want to go through all of this, but you can just see what I've done with the buttons here. You're making sure it's all aligning with what is on Figma. Nice and simple. Make sure the actual fonts align with the correct size, the correct colors, and obviously make sure it's aligned in the middle. And then exact same with the images. You'd actually go ahead and snip these. So how you would snip this one here, press the S button on your keyboard, and you would just grab that image, and then you would export that, okay? So that's just simply how you go ahead and create the design for the actual pop-up. Then for the targeting and behavior, what you can actually do here is have time delay. So for this one, we've got a 15-second time delay. And also you can do after a visitor scrolled a certain amount of the page. Obviously here, we've also got 60% set up as well. You can just copy some of these settings here. So obviously just show the devices. This is desktop only. And that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. For targeting, don't show to existing Klaviyo profiles because obviously we've already captured those. Just quickly, fully forgot to mention probably the most important thing. You want to make sure you have got property fields. So you've got a unique ID, and then you've just got a tag here for the value, so that every button here is aligning with the tag that you want to use at a later date, okay? That's pretty much it.
We've been scaling D2C brands ever since our very first client, and we've been able to generate over 7 and 8 figures for our clients via emails alone. During that time, we've tried hundreds of different flows and automations inside of Klaviyo. You name the flow and we've tried it. And after all of this time, we've narrowed it down to just 9 mandatory flows you need to scale your e-commerce brand to 7 and 8 figures. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what each flow is, explain why it's so important to have each of these flows for your customer journey, and finally, how to implement these flows for yourself. So let's get straight into the video.
So let's go through the 9 email marketing flows that you need. You don't need to overcomplicate this. I'm going to show you exactly how this works. We've pretty much got it down to a science now. We do it based on the customer journey. Every single stage of that funnel, we tailor one of these flows to. Now, let's get straight into it. I'm going to go through this from a basic overview, then show you some more advanced strategies and even some prime examples of emails from each individual sequence. So let's go straight into this. First things first is your welcome series. This is one of your most important email flows, and the reason why is because it's going to be the first impression of your brand. This is the first series of emails that they receive once they sign up to your pop-up form on your website.
What we want to do here is build trust and introduce your brand story, as well as your unique value proposition in the market. Number 2 is to engage them as early as possible and encourage them to visit your website and B, your social media, so that we can get them involved in your tribe. We want you to be top of mind on all channels and have that full omnipresent marketing approach. Then last but not least, the third lever we want to focus on in this flow is to boost sales. Now, because this is their first impression of your brand, they've not purchased from you before, as this is the welcome series, we want to have an irresistible first time offer to get them into your ecosystem so they can buy from you again and again. The second email flow we want to set up is a site abandonment flow, and this is to recapture interest for people who visited your homepage or your collections page. So they've not viewed any of your products yet. So we really want to focus on your brand value and remind them of your qualities. So they might have briefly viewed over your website. We want to give them a slight nudge to your unique qualities and the value. The next flow is the site abandonment flow. So this is for people who have seen your homepage, your collections page, and we want to recapture that interest. How we do this is reminding them of your brand values, your USPs, what makes you different to your competitors. The next thing we want to do is also show your best sellers and also your best customer experiences. If you've got some really powerful customer success stories, we want to go ahead and show this, as this is going to pique interest and get them further down that funnel. Number 3 is a time sensitive offer. So this creates a sense of urgency, and we can layer some incentivization such as free shipping or a small discount. The next flow is the browse abandonment flow. What we want to do here is make this personalized and follow up with any products that your customer has viewed. If they viewed products on your store, they've browsed your products, they've then left. This is when we set up the browse abandonment flow. What we want to do is dynamically pull in products from your store using pixel data and show them the exact products they was looking at. Sounds a bit techy, but I'll show you some examples later on. What we want to do here is have A, obviously a reminder, but also B, layer this with social proof, show customer testimonials, success stories. If you have any before and afters, now is the time to show them some before and afters so they can see what the power of your product does. Next thing we want to do is have some form of FOMO and urgency, highlight product popularity or limited time discounts. Number 3 is personalized recommendations. So if they've seen a product, they've been viewing it, focus on that product, but also show some complementary products to go alongside this as well. The next thing we want to set up is a cart abandonment flow. And this is to try and get as early as possible in that recovery stage. So what we're going to do is remind them of that cart. Hey, you left something behind, with a gentle nudge. Reassure them as well that, here's what other customers have experienced with our brand, and frequently ask questions as well to build that confidence. People here on the cart stage, they might be a little bit hesitant. They're thinking about it. Do we really need this? Or am I on the fence? Am I untoo sure about the actual guarantee here? What am I getting with this product? This is where you show frequently asked questions to build that confidence. So the next flow is the checkout abandonment flow. We really want to close the sale here. This is the last stage in the pre-purchase flow, the most highest intent audience. We really want to go ahead and remind them of that checkout and show what's waiting in that checkout. And I'll show you what form of scarcity we can do to actually push people over the edge with this and plant the seed early in that flow without giving a coupon straight away. Next thing we want to do is address concerns. So they might have questions in mind regarding shipping costs, security and returns. We don't just want this in lines of text. We can actually do favicons or different images to actually address this visually so that it looks nice and easy on the eye. Last but not least, limited time off our last chance before the incentive expires. And I'll show you how we can do this as well in the advanced strategies. Now, those were all the pre-purchase flows. Once obviously a customer has become a buying customer, we want to nurture them and make them a loyal, long-term paying customer. How we do this is by saying thank you and a confirmation of that order, and we express gratitude and appreciation for that purchase. Show them how much it means to them. Next thing we want to do is also educate them on the product care. Here is the road ahead. Here is the expectations of the product. Here is how to get the best out of our service. So we really want to paint the picture of the journey ahead. This helps with lifetime value and gets them to use that product as a ritual. Next thing we want to do is upsell or cross-sell. They've just had that buyer's high. They're waiting for that product to come, or they've already received this. So we want to complement them with other products just like the one they purchased. Next is a customer win back flow. So we want to rekindle old relationships with customers who we haven't heard from in a while. And I'll show you this a little bit later on how we set this up. But what we want to basically do here is have a friendly check-in. Hey, we miss you. Here's what's new. Personalized offer, so an exclusive discount or deal to bring them back in and spark their interest. And number 3, a final reminder and urgency. So, last chance to redeem this special offer. The reason we do this with a sense of urgency and have that offer is because there's no acquisition cost, but also once they've gone past this flow and they haven't opened this up, we then send out a sunset unengaged flow. So this is for people who it's been a long time, sometimes 3-6 months, we haven't heard from them. We basically want to go in and have a little check-in and a value reminder. Hey, are you still interested? Here's what's been missing since you've been gone. We also want to have some form of incentivization or ask them if they want preference updates. So what we do is have a discount and ask them, hey, do you still want to basically be emailed by us? Do you still want to hear from us? Then if they don't respond to any of these emails, we say, hey, look, final warning, you're going to be unsubscribed unless you take action. And then we'll go ahead and essentially remove them. And the reason we're doing this is to reduce your billing cost on Klaviyo by removing the dead weight from your list, as you're not making any money from these dead weeds, but also it helps with your deliverability as well. Last but not least, we want to set up a VIP flow. So this is for customers who purchase from us 3 or more times. And the reason we're doing this is because just like the 80-20 principle by nature, Pareto's law, essentially 80% of your results is going to come from 20% of your customers. This is your tribe. These are your most VIP customers. So we want to say, hey, look, you're now a VIP customer, introduce them to VIP perks, give them early access on new launches or sales, and also give them special perks when it's their birthdays, maybe even free shipping or insider benefits. It really does depend how you set up your VIP scheme. That is the overview. Now let's actually go ahead and look at the advanced strategies. So we've just gone through all of these flows, pre-purchase and post-purchase. How this looks from a macro perspective, you've got your customer funnel. A customer comes to the website, they view product, add it to cart, proceed to checkout, and if you're lucky, they make a purchase. For any given touch point in this pre-purchase stage, we basically go ahead and send out an automated email sequence if they drop off. So if they've just visited your website or homepage, we'll then send out a site abandonment flow. If they viewed a product page, they browse one of your products and left, we send out a browse abandonment flow, as you can see here. Add to cart, leave, abandon cart flow, proceed to checkout, leave, abandon checkout flow. Those are the pre-purchase flows we set up. Then if they've made a purchase, we basically say customer thank you flow and a series of different nurturing flows as well, all down here. So customer thank you flow, customer win back, sunset unengaged, and VIP flow. Let's actually look at this incrementally and see what strategies we've got in place. Now, take this with a pinch of salt. This is not the exact framework, but I want you to understand the psychology as to why we're doing this, because we're trying to pull every single lever that a customer might have as an objection to purchasing. So how this would look on the welcome series, customer has signed up to your pop-up form. Email number 1, welcome to our brand, short introduction, and thanks for signing up. And then we provide the discount. So for example, what I like to do in this first welcome email is I either have them be invited to our family, our tribe, our club, or as you can see here for Comfy Beds, welcome to the Comfy Beds family. We've done the same for Corvive as well, welcome to the family. Or what you can do is have them envision the road ahead. So, welcome to Pheromonal, where confidence meets radiance. Welcome to your personalized wellness journey. So get them to envision the plan ahead. It does obviously depend on the angle you want to go down in terms of, does your product solve a problem? And are you helping them solve this problem with your products? Or is it more of a product where it has that community aspect where it doesn't really solve a problem, but you want people to be a part of your community? And if you do have a big community, which I would advise, then definitely capitalize on this. So that's it. Short welcome, introduction to the brand, and give them the incentive that you offered in your pop-up. Email number 2 would be a founder's story, and not just any founder's story, a strong, compelling founder's story, so people can become emotionally connected with the vision and purpose of the brand. So how you can actually frame this is almost like a formal letter from the founder. So what we've done for this brand here is said, hey, first name, so make it personalized to that customer. Feel like you're actually talking to them. I'm Pedram, the founder of Omray, and I'm excited to welcome you to our community. I'd like to share the story behind Omray and what drives us to create the best health and wellness products for you. So showing you actually care for the customer. The idea for Omray came from my personal frustration with the supplement industry. Like many of you, I sought out supplements to enhance my health and wellness. The market was flooded with low quality, underdosed, poorly absorbed and artificial ingredients. I knew there'd be a better way. I envisioned a brand that prioritized quality, transparency and real results. Okay, and then you can read this as well if you want to, but I want to get straight through all of these emails that we've got here. So for email number 3, you want to educate about the product benefits and connect this with pain points. So for example, product benefits, feel more energized, and the pain point here is say goodbye to constant fatigue. Gain confidence, embrace a healthier version of you, and achieve your goals, whether it's weight loss or overall wellness. This company basically sell weight loss injections, so these are the 3 pain points that we found to be the most effective as to why customers actually wanted to start this journey in the first place. Go ahead and utilize this in your emails, as I'm sure other customers are also experiencing the same pain points. Email number 4. So this is using the law of comparison. We basically want to talk about your USPs and why you're the best solution in the market, and how we position this is with a what makes us different, us versus them. Here's how we compare to other competitors in our market. So you can visually show this with chart, for example, that has your product as the best solution. You can see here's our product versus our competitors. If you don't want to call your competitors out directly, you can simply just put our products are crafted with you in mind, for example. Here's why we're different, stuff like that, right? So you don't have to be direct if you don't want to be, but if you are trying to blow the park out your competitors, you can literally go ahead and do this, okay? That's email number 4. Number 5, pretty standard, using social proof, reviews, and success stories. Now, I always like to use before and afters. If you have before and afters and your product sells a visual difference, again, you can see, before and after, this person lost 50 pounds. It gets the consumer actually visualizing what that journey would look like if they chose you as that solution. If you don't have any visual before and afters, you can just go ahead and use reviews like so. I would always have the total amount of reviews you've had across your entire store on here, tied in with some actual reviews from your customers. The more powerful the success story, the better it's going to help with your conversions. Number 6, just go and do another educational angle. Doesn't have to be the same as the product benefits you've listed earlier. In fact, I would try and add more value here and not necessarily make it just about your product. If, for example, someone's trying to lose weight and you're selling weight loss products, show them other things they can do to help them get there. It's going to help build that trust and that credibility that you actually care about that customer. Email number 7, bestsellers, and tying that in with reviews and testimonials relevant to bestsellers. For example, I would have an email with maybe your top 3 bestsellers with a call to action for each one, and then even tie that in with the reviews that you've got as well. Okay, so loved by thousands of women just like you. So that's the email number 7. Email number 8 would be a value-packed email breaking down industry myths. So this is your opportunity to clear any objections with common misbeliefs within your niche. So for example, this brand here, they sell weight loss injections. I would actually have some statistics here and also show that if there is no negative side effects, here's the FAQs, here's the common questions that people have had. But here we've obviously done the percentage in terms of how much you can see being lost from studies. So we actually use case study evidence here. Another example, just showing data, better gut, reduced bloating, and gas caused by hormonal fluctuation. You can see the statistics here. Just put the cold, hard truths in front of them so they can make better decisions and understand how this actually works. Number 9, a final reminder about the incentive, and that's going to be the reminder of the incentive that you put in email number 1 from the pop-up. So you can see how in depth we go with each individual email and all the different levers we're trying to pull to push them over the edge and get them to become a paying customer. That's the first email series, the welcome series. For the site abandonment flow, if somebody has viewed your site, they've gone to your homepage or collections page, we basically just want to say, hey, we saw you checking us out, and the goal here is to bring them one step down that funnel and actually browse your products and become a paying customer. Email number 2 is benefits of the company, USPs of the company. Here is what we stand for, company vision. This is what email number 2 would be. Email number 3 is simply just going to be recommending any bestsellers because they've not viewed any of your products yet. Okay. Browse abandonment flow. Views a product, but they haven't added its cart. So they've browsed one of our products, but they've not actually purchased yet. What we want to do is remind them about the exact product they viewed, but also have a dynamic product block. So, for example, these product blocks you see here, this is going to pull in pixel data from your store so that it will dynamically pull whatever they viewed and put it inside of your email. The goal here is to be a little bit more generic about the collection rather than the product or the benefits of your brand as a whole, because it's going to pull in a multitude of different products into these product blocks. Okay. Email number 2, USPs of the products. Again, just clearly state the benefits of your brand. Then number 3 would be an incentive, offering some form of discount or free shipping, for example, and layering that with social proof. And then number 4 would be handling most common objections. So this could be like an FAQs email, for example, and then have the incentive expiring. So just having that sense of urgency as well. Abandon cart if they've gone to the cart page but they've not checked out yet. Reminder about the products they left in cart, and just state that we can only hold onto your cart for so long. In essence, it is a white lie, but they don't know this. Then we'll offer some form of incentivization and a USP of purchasing today. So for example, if you purchase today, you'll get free shipping. Social proof plus reviews and testimonials for email number 3. And then number 4 would be a sense of urgency. So 24 hours left to claim this incentive that we actually put ahead in email number 2. Abandon checkout is going to be the same sort of framework, but rather than going down the urgency aspect for email number 1, we're going to say the scarcity aspect, which is we don't know how long they'll stay in stock for, and just remind them about the products in the checkout. Obviously, for the cart and the checkout, we still want to have a dynamic block to pull in the cart and checkout so they can go and get whatever items were left in the cart and checkout, continue exactly where they left off. Email number 2, here's why our products are trusted. So you can have celebrity endorsements. If you have celebrity endorsements, if you've been featured in the press, this really does reduce the risk of purchasing, because if somebody well-known has purchased the product, then they're going to trust it a lot more than customer reviews. If you don't have anything like that, then you can have maybe your guarantees, your warranties, and even just customer reviews if needed. Email number 3, have specific reviews about the products in checkout. And obviously this is going to help with the increased perceived chance of success with purchase. Number 4, offer an incentive / introduce urgency. I would actually go ahead and just say, look, we can't keep your items in stock any longer. Claim yours before they're gone. Something like that, right? So those are all the pre-purchase flows. For the post-purchase flows, let's go straight into the customer thank you. This is once somebody's made their first purchase with your brand. We want to say thank you for becoming a customer. Show genuine gratitude so we can build that VIP loyalty. Email number 2 would be to offer VIP for third-time purchasers. I would actually go ahead and just go straight into a cross-sell. You can have the VIP flow within the post-purchase flow, but I go ahead and actually make this specific, and I'll explain why I do this a little bit later on. But you have that option and flexibility to do both. Email number 3, remove buyer's remorse, and how we do this is by showing success stories. So this is where a lot of e-com brands get it wrong. They go ahead, they get the customer to purchase the product, the customer's excited, and then you don't remind them why they bought this in the first place. So once you've made the purchase, your job's not finished. You want to actually set the expectations in terms of here's the road ahead, here's what other people have got, and keep that compound of excitement flowing through so we can nurture them further to buy more products in the future. Email number 4 would be to show how to use the product, set expectations. Here's how to look after your product. Here's how to take care of it. If you're a fashion brand, here's how to style your products that you've just purchased. You get the gist. Number 5, more educational. So give more information on the product or promote relevant blog articles. So coming back to my point earlier with the Welcome series, where we want to educate them on relevant sub-niche topics to help them with that end result, their desires. We can go ahead and do this by providing more value. The example that I gave earlier was if they're looking to lose weight and we're selling weight loss products, we want to give them 5 tips on how to lose more weight with other tips within that niche. Email number 6, offer relevant cross-sells or upsells. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 7, I love this email because what we're going to do here is we're going to build your reviews on autopilot for your brand. You're going to get more credibility and it's going to have a really good compound effect. But also, in exchange for that review, we're going to give them an incentive. Now, the reason this works so effectively is because they think they're getting a reward for a review, but really you're getting the reward because you're getting the review, but also you're getting the chance of them converting again because we're giving them an incentive. And we do have leverage here because there's no acquisition cost. So you're just increasing your customer average order value because they've already made a purchase, okay? Email number 8 is to offer a referral system. So if you have a referral system in your business, we can go ahead and automate this entire ecosystem by getting your customers who purchase from you to refer other customers. It works like a charm. It becomes its own sales system and its own ecosystem and really does print money. If you don't have a referral system, you can use an app on Shopify, or you can actually go ahead and use a third-party software. Customer win-back flow. So this is going to be triggered once a customer hasn't purchased from you in 90 days. Obviously, it does depend on the life cycle of your product. If you have a product like a bed, for example, no one's going to purchase another bed within 90 days. But how I would tailor this is maybe show a friend, so you can have like that referral aspect, or obviously increase that day in which they're going to receive this flow. So maybe it's 180 days, 365 days, okay? Obviously tailor this based on your product life cycle. How we go ahead and set this up is we haven't heard from you in a while, we miss you. That's email number 1. Slight nudge, not too pushy. Hey, how you being? Conversational, make it friendly. Email number 2 would be to offer an incentive. Coming back to my point earlier, there's no acquisition cost because these people have already purchased from us before. We're just trying to recuperate that lost revenue and say, hey, here's an incentive, and relate it back to the fact that they've bought from us previously and we haven't heard from you. Here's a little gift on us. Here's a little treat from us. Number 3, bestsellers and reviews. Obviously, you've probably got a new range of bestsellers since they last heard from you. Go ahead and show them this new range. And then email number 4 would be urgency to buy with that incentive that we mentioned in email number 2. Okay, and have some time frame urgency here. 24 hours left to claim incentive. Now, what we want to do is if they haven't opened an email in the past 180 days, they're essentially ghosting us. They're dead weight in our email list. We want to go ahead and send out a sunset unengaged flow. Hey, we haven't heard from you. If you'd rather not be emailed, here's the option to unsubscribe. Now, coming back to my point earlier, we want to unsubscribe people who are inactive in our list because it's going to help reduce the billing cost in Klaviyo. So you're saving money on your bill, but also it's helping you with your deliverability and keeping your list nice and clean. Okay, so email number 2, we still haven't heard from you. We're assuming that keeping up on social is good enough. So we want to be a bit witty here, have a bit of humor so that they don't think we're just trying to sell. Okay, we're trying to have a bit of fun and joke around with them. Email number 3, this is what we stand for. Here's our unique quality standard. Here's our USPs. Here's what we stand for. Email number 4, we'll go ahead and unsubscribe you. Look, we haven't heard from you. If you want to stay, you can click here. But if they haven't responded after that 4th email, the chances are they're never going to respond again. So we're going to automatically go ahead and unsubscribe them. Last but not least, the VIP flow. So once somebody has made their 3rd purchase and become a VIP, we go ahead and create a plain text email. Now, this is really strategic. The reason we're making this plain text is because we want to announce they are VIP from the founder. So we want to make it look like the founder of the company has actually took the time out of their day to say, hey, look, thank you for becoming a VIP from the founder. Here's a little incentive from me to you. So make it really personal and conversational. This is going to help retain customers. They're actually going to buy from you again and again. Then what we do is talk about VIP perks. So maybe you got free shipping or other exclusive options that they get once they become a VIP. It really does depend on how you set up your scheme. And the purpose here is obviously to build a stronger relationship with the customer. Email number 3 is going to be an incentive reminder. So just coming back to the first email here about the incentive we've given out, and we're just going to have urgency to claim as well. So you can see how we've set up this entire structure for the flow systems for pre-purchase and post-purchase, and why we've got this so effectively down to a science. Everything we do is based on customer behavior. It's all strategically done with psychology, and I hope you can understand why this is so effective. So every time I've used this within my clients' businesses, we see huge uplifts with the flows, around 40 to 60% in email revenue across the board for all of my clients with the flows we send out, and obviously the campaigns that we do as well. Plus, obviously pop-up forms and everything else.
So in this video, I'm going to be going through a live account to show you the last 30 days for this client, where we've been able to produce over $550,000 in attributed revenue from email marketing alone. It's not complex, it's not hard to implement, and it's going to make so much sense to you by the end of this video. You're going to understand our entire flow structure from A to Z, going through the customer journey, and you're also going to see some campaigns that we've been able to send out for this client that aren't just promo, bestsellers, seasonal based campaigns. So there's a lot to go through. Whether you're just starting off with Klaviyo, or this is for your brand or a client, and you've been struggling to get the results that you've been looking for, this video is for you. So how do we actually get to this point? First of all, we need to understand what actually makes a good email, what other people are doing, why you're not getting the result that you're looking for with your emails. First of all, this is what most e-commerce brands are doing. They're sending out boring copy and paste templates of designs that are just dull, boring, and do not get the engagement that of course we're looking for. So what we do is we create emails that are exciting, that are addictive, they pull the user in, and of course make each experience new and exciting for every single newsletter that we send out. Another thing to add as well, with attention spans being so low with TikTok, consistent scrolling and short form content, people have got no attention span anymore. So we need to make sure that each email is easy to read, it's visually digestible, and most importantly, it sells the click. Now that you understand that, again, this is not a design course, this is just a basic overview, right? What you also need to understand is the entire flow structure and strategy for pre and post purchase customers. This is what most people do. They've got a lack of depth inside each incremental flow. What we do is we set up a really advanced flow structure with sometimes even 8 to 9 emails inside a flow. And the reason we do this is because we want to handle every single hurdle that somebody might have before becoming a buyer, essentially, right? That's the flow structure. I'm going to go through this in more depth in a bit, but just to add to that as well, campaigns. Most importantly, what people focus on is just selling all the time. Best sellers, product. They're so product centric and focusing on heavy sales in seasonal periods, right? What we do is a little bit differently. We go ahead and actually add value. We build a community and increase that lifetime value, right? So of course, how we can do this is just adding genuine value, benefits, and even just tips to customers, whether it's not even regarding your product, but just your niche as a whole, right? You want to build up that relationship, become a trusted expert in your field. And of course, doing this, you're going to be paid dividends later, right? That's pretty much the overview. Let's actually go into the account and see how we generated these results. So as you can see, last 30 days, 7th of August to the 6th of September, as I'm recording this video, 53% in attributed revenue, 550K total coming from emails. 350K coming from campaigns, 197K is coming from flows. The most important thing that I want to go through is the flow structure. So in order to do this, let's actually go into my Lucid chart here. So I'm going to take you through every single flow that we've got set up, and you're going to see why this is so effective, right? So of course, welcome series, customer comes in, they sign up to your pop-up form. Of course, we want to go ahead and give them a quick introduction to the brand, short welcome message, and just basically say thanks for signing up, provide that discount / incentive that they signed up for your offer. That's always the first email you want to do, to make sure you're giving that gratitude, introduce them to the brand, and of course providing that offer. Second email, what we do is we actually have a founder's story or purpose for the brand, why we actually started this brand, get people emotionally connected to the brand, and of course that's going to pay itself dividends as well, because people will be attached to your company's core mission and where you're taking it, where is your vision. Number 3, more education on the product benefits. So just giving them some more incremental benefits of the product that they might not have seen before, and just connect that with pain points as well, how this product actually solves the problem that they're currently facing in their day-to-day. Fourth email, again, usually going through product USPs, what makes us different, again, us versus them. If it's not product centric, it can be company centric. So what makes us different versus our competitors. Number 5, social proof, reviews, success stories, really hitting hard, showing that community and showing that other people have actually used our product and got the result that they was looking for with that product. People actually love our brand, right? So it just adds that people are buying into our brand because we are a popular brand and we're credible, right? Number 6, again, more education. Maybe this is not necessarily on the product per se, but it's more based on the actual niche as a whole. So just educating them on how we help to solve that problem. Here are some tips, stuff like that, right? Number 7, bestsellers. Again, these people have just came to your brand. They might not be sure of what the best sellers are. Let's give them guidance on that. And also just show that intertwined with reviews and testimonials as well, relevant to those best sellers. So just adding another layer of social proof, building that community. Number 8, a value-packed email. So this could be a breaking down industry myths, or just giving them the actual science, the cold, hard truths about the product. There's a lot of myths that come with a lot of different products. We've got a client at the moment who's doing weight loss injections, and there's a lot of myths about whether they're harmful or not. And also there's a lot of stats as well that prove how effective this product is. Let's go ahead and put this in front of the customer, because this could help with the objection handling and helping them actually believe in the actual value of this product. Number 9, of course, final reminder about the incentive. So just having a layer of scarcity. This is the last email you receive, and only send this to, of course, non-buyers. So people inside that welcome series. That is the first flow that we set up. So that's for people who, of course, just signed up to your welcome series. Just before we go through the rest of the flow, I just want to show you essentially the customer funnel and why this is important. So let's say a customer comes to your website, right? Came to your homepage, or they came to your catalog page. They've not viewed any products yet. What we're going to go ahead and do is set up an automation called a site abandonment flow. So this is just for people who have not seen any of your products. And I'll go through how this is going to look incrementally in a minute. But all you need to know is that every single touch point here, whether it's viewed the website, viewed the product page, added it to cart, proceeded to checkout, every time they've left in one of these touch points on the customer journey, we want to go ahead and set up an automated flow, basically get them back into that customer funnel and deeper down that customer journey, right? And finally, of course, once they've made a purchase, we don't just want to say, job finished, we're done here, don't need to do anything, they made the purchase. We want to go ahead and build up that lifetime value and get people coming back and nurture them again and again. So now that we've understood that, of course, let's go through the first touch point in that customer funnel. So the site abandonment flow. Essentially, they've not viewed a product yet. So what we want to do in email number one is just say, hey, we saw you checking us out. Have a call to action to say continue browsing. And of course, the goal here is literally just to bring them one step closer down that funnel, right? So slight nudge, not too pushy. That's the first email. Second one might be more benefit driven or USPs of the company, what we stand for, similar to the welcome series, but more product centric, right? Just showing them the products, trying to get them to take a deeper look into, of course, the products, right? Number three, again, if they're still not sure, recommend them bestsellers, right? So here's our bestsellers. Have a look at this, continue browsing. That's the main call to action here. Getting them deeper down the customer funnel. Browse abandonment. So if a product has been viewed but not added to cart, we're going to send out this automation, right? So just a simple reminder about the product that they viewed. And the goal here is to get them to add this product to cart. So big thing to note with any of the abandoned flows, that being your abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, or even the browse abandonment, which we're looking at now, you always want to use dynamic product blocks, because what this does is it actually uses your pixel data integrated from your store and places the product that they was viewing inside of this email. So it's dynamically placed based on what they viewed, so that they don't have to actually go to the store, find the product they was looking at. We just show them the product they was looking at, and of course they can go back to where they left off, right? That's email number one, just a simple reminder. Email number two, just mention USPs of the product that they have viewed and clearly state the benefits. So just giving them more education, maybe it's another touch point or USP that they've not seen yet. So this is really going to help, of course, get them to convert. And finally, number three, offer an incentive or discount. And the reason we do this on the third or fourth email is just simply because we want to get this low hanging fruit, right? They're so close to buying. So what we're going to do is offer them an incentive and layer this with social proof. So this is what other people have been getting. If you've got some good testimonials or success stories of clients, customers who have actually used your product or service, we want to offer an incentive and double it up with that social proof. Number four, handle most common objections. So this is just a really, why are you not buying? What's the issue here? Really just drilling in with the most common objections that we got with the products. You could even look into the FAQs, the most common FAQs, or even survey your customers about the product that they was getting and what they had decision fatigue when it came to buying that product. And then just, again, laying that with the final incentive and make sure that you're adding the expiry date. This is the last time you're going to get this offer based on that offer that we put in the third email. Abandoned cart. So this is once they've actually added the product to cart, they've left. What we want to do is go ahead and, of course, send out the abandoned cart emails. So just a simple reminder, again, like we did in the first one. And just mentioning as well, we can only hold on to your cart for so long. And we want to do this on the first email, so we plant that seed so they know there's urgency from the get-go, right? Again, call to action just to go back to the cart. Second email, offer an incentive. I would say you could either do it on the second or third one. This is not black and white. This framework is just a simple template that we use when it comes to tailoring this for different clients. But I would say have an incentive in at least the second or third email and just give them a USP of why they should purchase today. Social proof, reviews, testimonials, again, just show that value, the case studies of success stories that people have had with that product, show them before and afters if they have that, or even just show what other customers have said and how it's changed their life by buying that product. And then four, we're just going to go, email number four, we're just going to go really hard with urgency, 24 hours left to claim. That usually trickles them over the edge, okay? As the abandoned cart, let's go into the abandoned checkout. Sweet, so abandoned checkout, if they've added it to checkout but they've not purchased yet, this is going to be the final pre-purchase flow that we set up. And of course, again, it's just pretty much the same as the last three, a reminder about the products that they had in that checkout. And of course, just say, we don't know how long we can hold this in stock, right? Because of how popular our products are. Again, right, showing that with the social proof that we've done before. And just saying, we don't know how long we can have this in the checkout for. Go back to checkout. Email number two, why our products are trusted and reducing the risk of purchasing. So here, if you've got any satisfaction guarantees, warranties, stuff like that, just show these USPs. And of course, that's going to pay you dividends as well. Third email, of course, is specific reviews about that product. Again, just increasing that perceived chance of success with purchase, showing the specific reviews about that product. You never know, one success story might click with a customer and they actually resonate with that, and of course go ahead and become a customer, right? Number four, of course, is just offer an incentive. We're gonna offer an incentive on the final and fourth email of the checkout, and just really go hard with urgency here, okay? So whenever it's the third and fourth email on the checkout or the cart, we want to go hard with urgency and just give them a specific time frame in which they have to buy, 24 hours left or 2 hours left, okay?
Those are all the pre-purchase flows. Now that we've of course acquired a customer, once they've purchased, we actually want to go ahead and set up a series of automations. So email number one is just going ahead and thanking the customer, showing genuine gratitude, and of course building that VIP loyalty. Number three is offer relevant cross-sells or upsells. You could even go ahead and put a VIP flow here as well for people who have purchased 3 or more times. I wouldn't do this, but it's an option you can have. I would actually go ahead and segregate into a separate VIP flow, which I'm going to go into in a minute, but the option is always there for that as well. Email number 3, remove buyer's remorse. So this is crucial, and a lot of brands make this mistake. What they do is they give the customer the product, they leave the customer to go away with that product, but they don't go ahead and actually remind them why they bought the product in the first place. So it's really just nurturing them through that journey of buying the product and making this experience one that they're actually going to use, and that's going to help build up their lifetime value and get them to come back to you again as well, right? So how we do this is we show success stories of people who've used the product and what they've actually been able to achieve with the product and how they've done it as well. So you could even implement strategies that people have used with your product to get the better result. Email number 4, of course, just show them how to use the product and set expectations. Maybe it's if you're a fashion brand, it's a how to style guide, how to style these shoes with these type of outfits. If it's a product that of course needs a lot of maintenance, you can show them how to maintain this product and keep it in good condition. I'll leave that to you. I'm pretty sure you can understand this based on your product, but you just want to set expectations and actually show them how to use the product. Number 5, educate people on other products. So give more information on other products or relevant products that you have got in your store. If you haven't got a lot of products to offer, you could actually promote relevant blog articles as well, or even just other tips that they can use in order to get the best out of the product they bought from you or your service, right? Number 6, we're going to go hard with relevant cross-sells and upsells as well. Once we gave them a bit of value, build that trust up, show we're not always trying to sell, but we actually care for you as our customer. Number 7, absolutely love this email. So what we're going to do here is ask them for a review, and in exchange for a review, we're going to give them an incentive. So it's a win-win here because there's no acquisition cost in acquiring this customer because they've already purchased from us. So we can have a bit of leverage and of course give them a nice juicy discount. And in exchange for that, we're going to get reviews on autopilot, which helps build up credibility for our brand, which is going to help with conversions for your entire store anyway. Really, really powerful email. Number 8, always implore you to do this. If you do not have this in your business or in your client's business, go ahead and do this. Create a referral system and automate people who purchase from your brand into this referral system. This becomes its own ecosystem. It's just another pocket of sales that literally just generates its own economy of revenue essentially, right? That's why we do this. And again, if they've not already reviewed, ask for a review, okay? Brilliant. So that is the customer thank you. In terms of what we do after the customer's purchase, we give it a bit of time. So if a customer's not purchased from you in the last 90 days, and again, this is optional, it depends on like lifetime value and customer cohorts of the product. If a customer's not purchased from you in the last 90 days, what we want to do is set up a customer win back flow. So simply put, if they've not purchased in the last 90 days, as soon as they hit that 90-day mark, we basically send out an automated email and say, hey, haven't heard from you in a while, we miss you, where have you been, right? Just invite them back to the website. Again, slight nudge, not too pushy, just to get them back to your brand and remind them of who you are. Number 2, offer an incentive. Coming back to my point earlier, these people have already purchased from you before. It's been 90 days now anyway, so you might as well just go and offer an incentive. There's no acquisition cost, so it is, of course, a good way to get them back, right? And of course, you can relate this back to the fact that they bought previously. Email number 3, best sellers, or even more, here's what's new. So if you've got new products that have just come out, you can actually go ahead and send this to people from, of course, the past 90 days. Show them reviews as well of the bestsellers or new products, more educational. Bit of freeway here, but that is what I'd go ahead and suggest. Is just always show bestsellers. Number 4, urgency to buy. Of course, 24 hours left to claim the incentive that we gave them in email number 2. That's it. That's the customer win back, right? Now, sunset and engage flow. If a customer's not opened an email in the last 180 days, once they hit that 180-day mark, we do the exact same as the customer win back and say, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. If you would rather not be emailed, here is the option to unsubscribe. Now, the reason we are doing this, it might seem a bit counterintuitive, but it's just simply to keep your list clean and make sure that you're getting the best deliverability as possible and appearing in the priority inbox for all of your active users. Not to mention as well, you're going to save money on your billing because the more users you have on Klaviyo, of course, the more your bill goes up.
That's something that we want to avoid if we are not getting the most out of our list. We want to get rid of the tumbleweeds, get rid of the dead weight, because we're just wasting money on people who are essentially just no longer interested. Email number 2, again, just be a little bit pushy. So still haven't heard from you, assuming you're keeping up on socials is good enough. Be a bit witty here, show a bit of humor. We're not just a brand, we are a personal voice speaking to you. People buy from people, and we buy from people we trust. Most people trust people with a bit of humor who are actually likable, right? Email number 3, this is what we stand for, unique quality standards. So again, just going into company USPs, core mission, remind them of your vision, remind them of who they are, refresh their memory. And then email number 4, literally, if they not came back after all these emails, they're dead weight. We just say, look, we're going to go ahead and unsubscribe you automatically. If you want to stay, you can click here. That's it. Last and final flow is the VIP flow. So if a customer's purchased from you 3 or more times, they become a VIP. What we want to do is send out an email and tailor this as if it has came from the founder. So how we do this is, rather than having these beautiful designed emails, we want to go ahead and just send a plain text email and sign it off from the founder. And also we want to give them an incentive from the founder as well. So announce they're a VIP and give them an incentive for it. So I really do value you here. And of course, I just wanted to give this to you because you are one of our VIP customers. Something like that, right? Email number 2, just talk about VIP perks. If there's any other incentives that you have with people who just became VIP, whether it's they get the first news when it's product launches or first dibs on new products, whether they get discounts on certain products, whatever your VIP perks, talk about it. Think about how you can actually build out a layer of VIP perks, because you're going to build a stronger relationship with these customers. And again, if they've already bought from you 3 or more time, they're going to buy from you again and again, right? Email number 3, again, last but not least, the final incentive reminder and urgency to, of course, claim it. So your offer is expiring or your coupon is expiring, claim it now before it expires, right? That is it. That is the entire flow structure set up. And I'm pretty sure after I've gone through the entire flow here, from pre-purchase to post-purchase, you can see why this is effective. If anything, it's almost like a science to me now, because you are going through each pinpoint in the customer journey, and it just makes sense, right, once we explain it like this. Let's actually go ahead and see the results from what we've just gone through here inside one of our client accounts. So, welcome series, 17K just from this series in the past 30 days. Browser abandonment flow, 21,000 people. Can you imagine how much money that is just from people who've viewed a product and they've left, and then we brought them back? $21,000, that's absurd. Site abandonment flow as well. That's just from people who've not even been on a product page yet. They've literally just came to the homepage or catalog page. This flow alone has brought in 17K just from getting them deeper into that funnel, viewing a product. Then we've got the abandoned cart, 14K. I will admit, I think this company has got a slider for the checkout, if I'm not mistaken. So it does, of course, overlap with the checkout here, which is why you're seeing around $74,000 coming from the abandoned checkout. Customer win back. So this is $7,000 from people who have just not purchased in the past 90 days, and you're literally just bringing them back in. Sunset and engaged, it's not really a revenue driver, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's just to keep your list clean. So you're not really going to see too much coming from that, okay? And the thank you series as well, around $22,000 coming in from that. You can see how effective these flows are and this exact strategy is. Let's actually look at the campaigns, right? And I'm going to take you into the campaigns for the last 30 days and just show you a few successful campaigns that we've had that are not sales based. So this is just going to be review highlights, FAQs. So if we look at this reviews highlight here, this email alone brought in $37,000. Let's actually view this email quickly. Really, really simple. Shop now button at the top. Honestly, when it comes to making emails, I would say as a standard, shop now at the top, and then of course a shop now at the bottom, especially if they're on mobile, because if you've only got a shop now at the top, I've now got to go all the way to the top in order to, of course, click on that button. No, it's not a very long email, but if this was a longer email, it can be a bit annoying and of course reduce the click rate. You know that quality matters, and so do our customers. Instead of the usual pitch, we are letting the voices of those who've tried our products do the talking. Here's what the fellow Canadians have to say about the experience with us. And again, we've just got some reviews here. Simple shop now button, simple shop now button at the top, takes them straight to the website. And of course, that produced $37,000, right? Nice, simple, but severely effective. Another value-based email. So what actually happens when you quit smoking and start vaping? So this is more educational. And what we did here was saying, you're thinking about switching from smoking to vaping. It's a great choice that can lead to better health and a cleaner lifestyle. Literally just gave them the benefits of switching. 5 benefits here, and a simple call to action, which said shop vapes, right? If they did want to learn more, they can go ahead and learn more about this at the top. Usually I wouldn't advise for 2 call to actions, but this sort of ties in synergistically. And when you actually get onto the website and learn more, you can then go ahead and look for vapes anyway. So if you are really deep down that tunnel of intent, you're going to go ahead and keep going down that tunnel if you're really interested in, of course, switching from smoking to vaping, right? That actually produced a pretty good amount of revenue, 14K, considering it was just a value-based, non-sales-based email.
So you've got an email list, you've been growing it with a high converting pop-up form, just like we showed you in previous videos. But now you're facing the big question: what do you actually send to these subscribers? And if you're like most e-com brands, you're probably stuck in the discount loop of 10% off, 15% off, buy one, get one free, free shipping, you name it, right? And while discounts definitely drive sales, they come with two massive problems. Firstly, they only train your customers to buy when there's a sale going on, which massively kills your profit margins. And secondly, they burn out your list faster than anything else, absolutely tanking your engagement rates. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 non-discount emails that you can send out to your Klaviyo email list that will drive sales, build brand loyalty, and protect your margins. And these are the exact email types we use for our clients who are currently generating 6 and 7 figures monthly with emails alone. Okay, cool. So disclaimer here, before I go into the 5 best non-discount emails, I just want you to understand that every email here, the best performers are going to be very niche specific. So what I mean by this, what works well for health and wellness brands versus beauty brands is going to be completely different, right? I've tried to label this as generic top 5 best non-discount emails. So that being FAQs, testimonials, myth busting, motivational, and educational. Of course, what works best for certain brands is going to be very niche specific. And I'll get onto that in a little bit more detail later on. As you can see underneath the 5 topics here, some actually have subtopics. So educational, you can see, has got a few subtopic email campaigns that I'd like to talk about, that being us versus them, recipes, tip-based emails, and how-to guide-based emails, right? Motivational has sort of storytelling aspects to it as well, which can help drive a more impactful campaign. Myth busting usually includes a lot of data, statistics, and data-driven campaigns, so they sort of go hand in hand. And then we've also got testimonials, which has got a big branch, such as success stories, case studies, which you see here, reviews, and before and afters, okay? FAQs, pretty self-explanatory, right? So you've got your top 5 e-commerce brands. I'm going to go through what works sort of best for each individual niche, as well as I'm sure this is going to apply to at least your brand. If you're watching this, you will fall under one of these umbrellas or a close cousin of one of these niches, right? So let's just go through top to bottom from FAQs and show you how this can actually look from a non-discount based email campaign. So as you can see here, BioP, this is one of our brands. And just so you understand what I've done here, I've gone through every single Notion board of all the different campaigns we've done for all of our different brands to get you the top selects of these non-discount campaigns. So you're getting a glimpse at literally the best examples of non-discounted campaigns across the board from multi-million-pound companies to see what's actually the best performers here. So as you can see here, biopreventative, your top FAQs answered. So these guys actually sell weight loss injections such as semaglutide injections, if you're familiar. Anyway, more to the point, weight loss solutions. So again, a lot of your customers, they're going to have frequently asked questions, and this applies to every single brand. FAQs applies to every single brand. Your customers got questions. Sometimes they just can't be bothered to go ahead and actually find the answers themselves, right? Customers are lazy. You need to put it in front of them, make it crystal clear. That's why this campaign can be so effective. So, you know, will these treatments work for me? These are questions your customers are going to have. What are the side effects? That would be a question I'd be having if I'm injecting a product into my body, right? Is it affordable? Again, a huge pain point here. And is there a guarantee in place? And how much weight loss can I lose? These are 5 really big, impactful questions that, again, if it's a big objection your customer might have and you rectify this in an email, chances are that's actually going to push them over the edge and get them to convert, right? So that's for a weight loss solution. Another example here is for a product called Love Health. Similar sort of aspects in terms of like health and wellness. They do supplements. Again, just Q&As here, simple Q&As. You can see how this is been illustrated here. Even as well, rather than just taking them to the store, what you can do is have the call to action take them to an article. So read the full article. So this is coming back to that weight loss injection. I don't actually know how to pronounce this, so I'm not even going to bother, but this product represents a groundbreaking advancement in the world of weight loss medications. Today we're giving you a sneak peek behind the curtain, telling you everything about TERS, whatever it's called, from what it is to how it can revolutionize your weight loss journey. So they can read the full article here, which has got all these different questions they might have, rather than just putting it in this email. So instead of making a long, lengthy email and going through all their questions,
if they really do want to learn a lot more about it, you can send them to an article where they can read everything they need to know. Another one here, everything you need to know about teeth whitening, right? Is teeth whitening safe? How long does it take to see results? Will whitening make my teeth sensitive? Notice as well with these emails, we're not sending them these huge blocky articles, but we're keeping it really short, straight to the point with bullet points. We still want to make sure these emails are visually digestible and easy to read. We're not sending them a complete article or wiki page of Q&As, okay? So that's the FAQ section. Definitely go ahead and try that out. I would suggest sending that out at least once every 2 months as a minimum, okay? And try different FAQs or just double down on what works, okay? Next in line is testimonials. So this can fall under case studies, reviews, before and afters. Let's go from left to right and show you how this can work dependent on your brand. So if you are a brand that don't have any visual before and after or any pictures, you can literally just take the best testimonials you've had from customers for your brand. So this is Citron. This is a brand that we work with. They sell sneakers. This is one of the emails talking about experiences from customers. We've literally just took snippets from their reviews page and put them into an email. Same sort of thing with another brand here, but this was rather than just a product that's based on aesthetics, so that being like fashion and apparel, if you like it or you don't like it. This is based on a confidence building brand. So these guys, they sell shoes that actually elevate your height. They're called Paparazzo. So their main USP is boosting your confidence, right? If you want to, gain an extra 7 centimeters in height, you can see that this has been elaborated as well within a review. So here's what our customers have said. Even my girl is proud walking next to me now. So yeah, we're going to cultivate these based on the pain points of the brand so that we can actually give the customers the solution and show other customers have seen the exact result that they're potentially looking for if they're a buyer, right? So you can see how that works in terms of text-based reviews. What else you can do as well? So this was a katana brand. So these guys sell katanas. They basically have a bunch of different people buying katanas from them. Let's actually go ahead and show people's experience of buying these katanas, hanging it up on the shelf as well, so how it actually can look in your room. This looks really cool, right? A good mantelpiece. So you've got all these different reviews with images. Let's move on from this and show you some more advanced ways we can go ahead and show customer reviews. So change the way you feel every day. This was actually from one of our welcome series, but I still think you could send this out from a browser abandonment email. So this was from a browser abandonment email, but I do feel like this could be still used as a campaign and adapted. So verified review, okay? What a difference. Start using this product about a month ago after suffering bloating, digestive upset cramps. Again, narrating more of a story. Victoria, another verified person. I would even go on and say this is an expert who's reviewed and verified your brand. So if you have any authoritative figures, it could be doctors, it could be celebrity endorsements, it could be influencers, creators who are well known in the space, you can go ahead and use them inside the email. So it's just a bit deeper than a review that's not so generic from a random person, but someone who's got some form of authority, okay? Again, another example here, real results, Amber's inspiring weight loss journey. So if you've got a really powerful success story, go ahead and use this. We've also got a before and after review, so this gets even more bonus points, and I'll get onto why before and afters are so good in a minute. But yeah, Amber's journey, and actually have a review from Amber. If you've got anything like this, a customer who's had a life-changing success story with you, definitely go ahead and send that as an email. That's going to get a ton of people checking out your website and potentially taking that leap with your brand. Next step, before and afters. If you've got a series of different before and afters, go ahead and show these, right? Anything with a visual before and after like this is going to get you a ton of brownie points because it sells itself. You don't even need to read it. You can just say, oh, right, that's what they've been able to achieve. I can start to envision how this is going to help my hairline if I've got, a lack of hair that I want to grow, right? Same with this brand here, before and afters, weight loss, anything weight loss related with visual results. Again, same sort of concept as that. Last but not least, I would also go ahead, and this ties in with that expert trust aspect, but you don't necessarily always have to show review after review when it comes to case studies, success stories, etc. You can have actual USPs that relate to that. So backed by science and trusted by experts. Comes back to my authoritative aspect earlier that I was talking about. High quality natural ingredients. So this is also something that you could infuse with reviews. You've also got support that lasts. Okay, so just tie it in with other USPs to help make it more impactful, right? So it doesn't have to be just completely review based, but have other USPs integrated with a review to make it a 10 out of 10 campaign. Okay, cool. FAQs done, testimonials, success stories, etc. done. Let's go on to my third top 5 non-discount email, which is myth busting. Breaking down common industry myths. Is there new data or new science in the market that is basically breaking down old beliefs in the market? Is there new science to back up why your solution is actually more beneficial that a lot of people don't really know of right now? So, for example, teeth whitening brand that came to us, basically we went ahead and separated the facts from fiction with teeth whitening. So myth, whitening damages the enamel, right? The fact is, it's not true. The products we stock are enamel safe, trusted by dentists worldwide. When used as direct, they work to lift stains without harming your teeth, right? So we're doing myth. Here's the myth. Here's the fact. Here's the myth. Here's the fact. Pretty simple as to why that works effectively. Okay, so breaking down old industry beliefs. Another one here as well is you can use statistics. So if you've got any data for your brand as to why it works effectively, you can see here, look, we've got 92% of women saw a reduction in bloating. Okay, saw an 8% saw an improvement in brain fog. You get the picture, right? Better gut health. Here's the stats. Better night health. Here's the stats. Statistics, benefits for the statistics. Helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, okay? That's another way to look at it. You don't necessarily have to do myth then fact. You can also just use data. If you don't have any data, what you can do is say, here's the science-backed benefits, okay? So here's a brand that works with us. They sell language kits to help kids with obviously developing their language. Here's the science behind it all. It boosts cognitive flexibility, sharpens focus and attention, enhances problem solving and creativity, strengthens memory and recall, okay? There's no statistics here, but here's the benefits and science as to why this works. Another one to look at, smoking versus vaping. So this is doing a sort of it's kind of like an us versus them, but it's like a what you need to know. So it's more educational, breaking down the myths. So as you can see here, here's the actual data. Cigarettes contain over 7,000 chemicals, many of which are harmful and linked to serious health risks. Vapes, on the other hand, use e-liquids that contain fewer chemicals, okay? And I'm not going to go through all these. You can just see what we're doing here, comparing in terms of costs, breaking down the cold hard facts and giving them the truth, right? Same with these two ones here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see what we're doing. Same sort of aspect with vaping versus tobacco. And then this one was natural versus synthetic, okay? So this is kind of like a us versus them, but we're also just giving them the facts and data as well. So that's data-driven myth-busting campaigns. Let's go through motivational campaigns / storytelling. So these sort of go hand in hand. And the first one I want to go through is Alchemy. So these guys, they sell blend of different sort of matcha and caffeine-based products with adaptogens that obviously help with cognitive function, right? So we want to say here, your healthiest year starts here. Let's thrive in 2025. As we step into the new year, there's no better time to build the foundation for your year. Let's make 2025 the year of energy, focus, and vitality. Start with the power of Alchemy's blends. Each scoop is packed with scientifically backed ingredients that do more than just boost your energy. So the motivational aspect here is obviously like, let's start your year off, right? Get you in the healthiest shape possible. Wellness backed by science, and just sort of giving them the cold hard truth in terms of the science aspect here. Other ways you can do this is with the history. So this is also coming back to this brand here, the ultimate ancient superfood. You can see we're talking about the actual story behind this product. So this product is found in Shilajit. I hope I've just not absolutely butchered that. But we're actually just giving a bit of background as to why it's so special and how this medicine actually helps with, vitality and combat aging, the science of it, where it originated from, and the benefits you'll feel, all compact into one big educational email, okay? Another thing to look at, this is more of a storytelling aspect. So this is Kamoka Pearl. They're a family-run business in the French Polynesia, and they basically sustainably source these pearls from the coast of, French Polynesia. So they go ahead and basically just paint the picture here saying our story began on a sailboat crossing endless Pacific waters until our family landed on a atoll where ocean and sky stretch as far as you can see. Here in this pristine lagoon, Kamoka Pearl took root. So we're just doing a bit of brand story here for this campaign. Family run, sustainably farmed, handcrafted, one of a kind, real human service. Okay, so let a piece of, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ahi's beauty become part of your story too. Shop now. So you can do storytelling. Another one here, driven by a simple mission, storytelling in terms of empowering dentists to provide the highest quality oral care. Tired of overpaying for your dental instruments? And then it just goes through the costing aspect. We saw a problem too, so this is where we're relating with our story. Too many dentists, dental hygienists, and medical professionals were forced to choose between quality and affordability when it came to their tools. Okay, that never sat right with us, so we built, this brand here. So storytelling, huge aspect, and motivation as well. So you can have more motivational emails, get people to envision, starting their healthiest year possible. Let's thrive together in 2025. I do know as well with some of these emails, I've got get 30% off. I have just pulled these from some certain campaigns. You don't necessarily need to have the discount code. I know this is meant to be on the top 5 non-discount emails, but you can see sort of where we're going with this. So yeah, just ignore the discount on some of these. So Cool. Let's go through educational because there's a lot to go through here. So us versus them, using the law of comparison. So this doesn't necessarily mean you rip apart your competitors, although we have done that in some of these. Have we done that in some of these? No, ignore that. So yeah, us versus them. So showing why you are the best solution on the market. What makes us different? Safety first, quality you can count on, easy assembly, hassle-free delivery, 12-month guarantee. So that's sort of comparing why you are the better choice over competitors without actually calling out your competitors. Another way we've done this is with this brand here. They sell CBD cartridges. And here we just go on to say, here's why our cartridges basically crush the competition. Flavor, pure potency, quality that shouts straight from us, no nonsense. So we cut the middlemen, etc., right? So this is how you can do it without ripping apart other competitors. Another example here, Project Lean Nation, they sell meal prep. Why this is more than just a meal prep, okay? So here is why we compare to competitors. Us, obviously, structured nutrition, expert coaching, etc. Them, obviously, generic meal delivery, no guidance, no accountability, and no real results. So here's why we're better than competitors. Here's what makes us different without ripping apart our competitors. Another way you can do this is with actual charts. So show our brand, Comfy Beds. They basically sell divan beds. Us versus other brands, made in Britain, built to last, mass produced, low quality. You get the memo here, right? You can see that. Now, another thing you can do as well is actually use the law of comparison, but not necessarily do it with other competitors or other solutions in the market or other brands. But if you've got two similar products, coming back to that weight loss injections earlier, there's two injections here. Just help them find out which one is best for them. Educate them on this. So we've done semaglutide versus tirzepatide. Hope I made that correct. But yeah, we basically shown like the effectiveness of both, and obviously just broke down like a comparison here, like product versus product in terms of cost and effectiveness, so they can find the best solution for them. And then we've even done before and afters as well with semaglutide versus tirzepatide. So really just breaking down the comparison here. Another way of doing this is like, why choose us? So if you really don't want to do an us versus them, you can do, here's why clients across the UK trust us, or here's why, X amount of people trust us. Fire safety compliance, made in the UK, tailored for your industry, and bulk order discounts. So you can go ahead and see how us versus them can be so effective. Now, for recipes, this is a bit niche specific. I would definitely go ahead and use this if you have a consumable based product or supplement where you can actually blend this into, some form of recipe, right? So this is alchemy. Here's how you can make these cookies with their ingredients. So peanut butter cookies, using their products, right? And you've actually got the guide here as how to actually go ahead and make that. Now, the reason why this works so effectively, A, is because it helps them to get creative with your product, but also B, if they find a recipe that they really enjoy using, they find this to be something that they can use in their daily routine or in their weekly routine, that's going to help with your lifetime value because they'll become dependent on that product because, it's going to help with, maybe it's for their fitness goals, for example, right? You get where I'm going with this. Another one to look at is how-to guides. So how-to is pretty simple. For example, Bulldog Gear, they sell workout equipment. We've actually gave people workouts that they can use with that product. Comes back to this sort of ritual of them becoming dependent on your product. Without our, elastic rubber bands, how are they going to do the actual workout program that we've listed here? Okay, so if they find a workout they like, then of course they're going to keep using the product. Again, another one we've done is like what makes an active rest day. So you can show you the benefits and how to actually achieve the best out of your rest days. Another one here is the busy person's guide to a brighter smile. So how to actually get a better smile. We gave them a 3-step formula here to achieving a better smile. It's an how-to guide, just providing more value with educational content. Cool. So the last thing to go through would be the tips that you can give out. So valuable based tips. So for example, Klaviyo, they sell supplements. One of their supplements helps get better sleep, but we don't just want to be so focused on that product all the time. So what we did was top tips for better sleep. And we actually gave them tips for getting better sleep. And then obviously Core Renew, this helps with digestive health and obviously inevitably helps with better sleep, right? So that's the cherry on top. Better days start with better nights. Shop now. So that's for that product there. Another one would be like 5 tips to get back into your fitness routine after summer, giving out valuable based tips here. And then obviously another tip based, should you try High Rocks? Okay, so those are the top 5 non-discount emails. I know we've just sped through those, but I didn't want to spend too much time on those. Of course, some are going to be more applicable to each individual niche. So yeah, there you have it.
Ever wonder how 7-figure e-commerce brands write emails that actually convert? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly that. I'm going to show you how you can quickly write a complete email flow for your brand and email campaigns that drive serious profit. And this is the exact process we've used to drive millions of dollars for brands like Lumi Therapy, Native Smokes, and Citra. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to write emails that persuade your customer to open and click your email, build automated flows that print money whilst you sleep, and drive serious growth with your weekly newsletters.
Cool. So how we write emails is pretty straightforward. As you could have probably guessed, we use ChatGPT. Now, we don't just use the basic ChatGPT. We actually integrate this with a AI tool called WebPilot. Now, what WebPilot does is it actually gives the ChatGPT the capability of going into your website or any URL link and pulling apart data from that web page. So the first prompt we always do is, hi, I'm an email marketer working with Klaviyo. I'm working with this pearl jewelry brand, and then we paste the website link. Visit the link and get familiar with our brand, USPs, and target audience. So we're just saying, look, this is our brand. Can you get familiar with the following? It then goes ahead and rips apart the website and gives you a full understanding of your brand. Then what we do is say, check these links as well to get familiarized. So giving it even more data about the brand. So if you have any blog pages or articles or specific product pages, we can go ahead and feed that into this ChatGPT link here. It's then going to rip apart these pages that we've just put into here. Cool. Now we say, also keep in mind this. What does your ideal customer look like? What do they act like? What do they spend their money on? What do they get up to in their free time? The more detailed you are, the better. Then we put a little asterisk here. What we actually do is we ask our customers, what do your customers look like? So I ask my clients, what do your customers look like? They'll give us this detail in the onboarding call, and then we go ahead and put this into ChatGPT. If you don't have that data and you're doing this for yourself on your own brand, take the time to actually understand who your customer is. You can also go ahead and pull in Facebook data as well to see what your best demographics are from your conversion campaigns. You know, what age demographic are they? What gender are they? Stuff like that is really going to help give ChatGPT a better understanding of your customer. It's then going to create a customer profile, as you can see here. And from everything that we've just given it above, we just say, make the summary from all my messages I've sent, not just the last one. So it's going to summarize here briefly, obviously, your customer profile. Then we're just trying to unify it and bring it all together. Now we say, good, now help me create 30 email campaign ideas that we can send to the list. A mix of value-based emails, social proof, testimonials, promotions, anything that would fit the brand and target audience. It's then going to give you a ton of different ideas that you can work with and potentially use for not only emails, but you could even use this for your prospecting and your Facebook ads, social campaigns, even organic, right? Good, but make them look like this: idea, explanation. So what we're doing here is idea for the title, then explanation. Similar to this, just laid out a little bit differently so you can go ahead and see this a bit more visibly for yourself and absorb it a lot better. Cool. So once you've got all your ideas, what you want to do is say, good, now let's write the welcome email flow. I'm going to give you the structure and the copy for this. Please do not use words like elevate and other BS AI words. I'm sure you've probably experienced this before. ChatGPT can give you some clunky, gimmicky AI words. Unlock the world is a common terminology I see a lot of time, or elevate your brand with X. You know, there's a lot of words that we want to alleviate, so we make sure to put this here. And what I also do is say, we want to show, not tell. The principle of show, don't tell in copywriting is about painting a vivid picture in the reader's mind rather than making bland, generic statements. Instead of simply telling your audience how amazing a product or service is, you want to demonstrate its benefits through storytelling, sensory details, or outcomes that make the value tangible and real. Here's why it works. It engages the reader's imagination. People connect more deeply with specific imagery and experiences rather than abstract statements. It builds trust. It evokes emotion. Example 1, example 2, example 3. Here's the structure. So what we've done here is we've actually said to ChatGPT, look, this is how you actually need to go ahead and structure this entire email. Here's the structure: welcome flow, pre-purchase, short introduction to the brand, give the customer incentive, pop-up form. So this is basically ripping apart my Lucid chart that I have here. Now, if I open this up, you'll see in the welcome series, this is how we've populated this in terms of the flow structure. So welcome, short introduction to the brand, thanks for signing up. Second email, founder story, emotionally connect to the customer, educate about product benefits. We're pulling all these different levers here from this Lucid chart and just giving it that basic overview for this here. Now, this client, we're not going to do all 9 emails you see here. So we have tailored this. You obviously want to go ahead and tailor this towards your brand. You can actually get this resource in the link in the description. I'll send you my Lucid chart so you can see all my emails that I've got here, and then you can adapt it for your brand. And as you can see, it's going to pull out the welcome series, email 1, subject line, welcome to Komoka Pearls, enjoy 10% off your purchase. Great. Hi name, we're so glad to have you join the Komoka family. Really good. Here, each pearl holds a story shaped by the pristine mortar of fill the blank here and crafted by hands that know that art. So this is actually used data and resources from the website that we've already fed it earlier, which is why it's talking about waters of Aid Atoll. Absolutely butchered that, but you get the message here, right? Bestsellers our customers love. Start exploring our collection. Shop now. Really, really good. And then the second email is doing, brand story here. So it's actually ripped out brand story, the story behind Komoka Pearls. Hi, name, in the 1970s, the Humbert family sailed across the Pacific to a remote atoll. I'm not going to read all of this, but you get the message. You can actually go ahead and check out for yourself how this has pulled this in from our client's website. So if we go on here, you'll see they sell pearls. If we actually go to the Komoka story here, it will say Atoll of Ahi. I'm completely butchering this, but it's pulling in this story saying, look, it was formed in the 1970s. It's actually put this into an email for you. It's done all the hard work and the labor for you. And it's literally done this for all the different sequences you see here. So that's a complete welcome series we've just pulled out. Then if you don't like the subject lines, we can say, look, let's change the subject lines right now. They're very basic and generic. I want some subject line that I can use in the cover image, and don't use phrases like, we're so glad to have you join the Komoka family. Add a little more copy as well. So adapt this how you like. To be honest, I think it's a really good framework for the body copy. I do agree that subject lines could be a bit better. And let's just see the next prompt. Good. Now let's write the email browse abandonment flow. So we've literally just done the welcome series just like that. Then we'll go ahead and do the exact same formula for the browse abandonment flow. And you just do that for all of these different flows we've got here. So welcome series, site abandonment flow, browse abandonment flow. You literally do the exact same thing throughout. And you can see as we go through, now let's write the abandoned checkout flow, and we give it the structure that we want to pull from these emails that we're doing here. And it's literally going to populate all of this for you. Cool. So once you've done all your flows, you can literally say, look, good. Now let's write an email called Why Sustainable Pearls Matter. So coming back to my points earlier, where we had the campaign angles here, all these campaign angles, we want to go ahead and take the best ones and use that a bit later on after we've done the flows. That's pretty much the flows done. With those campaign ideas that we done earlier, those 30 ideas, we can then go ahead and use a title from one of those email IDs and actually create your first campaign. And it's literally going to do that, as you can see here. This is way too long. We're actually going to shorten this. So for these bullet points, make them shorter. That's the prompt here, and it's adapted it all for you. And that's literally it. That is all there is to it. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Just make sure you feed ChatGPT the data it needs, and then also go ahead and use the prompts I've shown you in this video.
So the thing that's going to make your emails insanely profitable has nothing to do with some crazy AI hack or some secret email hack that will magically 10x your revenue overnight. As much as I'd like to sit here and say that, and trust me, it'd make what I do so much easier, it's just not the reality. The reality is, to get sales from your Klaviyo email marketing account in 2024 is that you need some fundamental skills that most brands I talk to just aren't doing. In the past year, we've written over 1,200 emails and over $12 million plus generated from those emails, and every single email has followed the same fundamental skills that I'm going to show you today in this video. So let's go ahead. Let me show you exactly how you can go ahead, implement these skills and fundamentals that we've been able to use to generate those results for your brand. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to create crafting compelling copy for your brand. So this is going to be the only e-commerce email marketing copywriting guide you will ever need. I did put 2024 here, but the stuff that I'm going to be teaching you is going to be evergreen, and you can use this for other marketing purposes throughout the entirety of your brand presence. So you're going to learn the essential copywriting skills for profitable e-commerce emails. This guide is going to cover everything, the fundamentals and strategies that have generated millions in revenue from my clients without relying on AI tools or gimmicks. Just a quick overview as well. We're going to be going through the entirety of writing effective email copy for marketing purposes, the importance of understanding the target audience and crafting attention-grabbing headlines. We're going to focus on specific goal-orientated emails and data-backed tips for writing better email copy. Lastly, as well, we're going to go through some valuable insights and strategies for improving the email marketing through effective copywriting, okay? There's a lot to go through, and I'm even going to go ahead and just say it right now. AI is not going to replace copywriters. It is a myth. AI tools or secret hacks can replace solid copywriting fundamentals, but these tools are only as effective as the foundational copywriting strategies behind them. So, step-by-step breakdown of the copywriting framework. Top of the funnel, of course, is the email subject lines. We're going to be discussing subject lines that have achieved high open rates in our campaigns. I'm going to show you exactly how to write them and the full process behind them as well. We're going to go through the pre-header text, explain exactly how the pre-header text is often overlooked, but it's actually a critical part of your email's first impression. And I'm going to go ahead and offer advice on how to use this effectively to reinforce the subject line and, of course, drive that
that click and pique that curiosity to get somebody into your email. Number 3, of course, we're going to go and look at the hook, the initial bit of text on your email, that first sentence or paragraph that is going to hook the reader and get them to go deeper down that funnel, and of course click the call to action on your email. Number 4, body copy. Discuss how body copy is actually constructed and of course how to actually go ahead and form that as well. Number 5, the call to action. We're going to discuss the role of the CTA in your email copy. I'm going to share some examples of high converting CTAs and explain exactly why they have worked. And last but not least, of course, any other advice around writing emails, sharing with you different ways to write emails depending on the different format and type of that email. So just some basic tips for e-commerce email marketing copywriting. Understanding your audience. Before writing, it is essential to know exactly who your target audience is. This includes their needs, preferences, pain points, and purchasing behavior. I'd even go as far as understanding exactly what they do from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to sleep, where they shop, what they do, where they eat, what clothes they wear, absolutely everything, okay? Every email should have a clear objective. It is important to have one call to action on an email so we do not cause decision fatigue. Each email should be tailored towards a specific purpose, whether it's driving traffic, announcing a sale, or encouraging a user to actually go ahead and buy one of your products. Last but not least as well, tone versus mood, consistency in tone and style. It is imperative that you have the same tone of voice throughout all of your emails. We do not want to confuse your user as to who's actually behind the face of the brand. Remember, it is important to speak from the voice of a person and not a brand, okay? So this can be a formal, playful, or authoritative approach. Whatever it is, we just need to be at the top of our mind that consistency is key, as it's going to build trust and recognition. Last point as well, just quickly before we go through this a bit further, personalization. Using the recipient's name or recommending products that they've actually looked at on your store is going to help create that personalized approach and tailored experience, which is going to help with the likelihood of course engagement and sales. Benefit, of course, by doing these following basic fundamentals is it's going to ensure that your emails are going to resonate with the target audience and have a higher chance of achieving the desired result that you're looking for, whether it's increasing sales, customer loyalty, or engagement. So another quick basic tip as well, simple, easy to read language. So we just want to use short sentences, avoid jargon, and I'll bullet point any critical bits of information that you think should be really easy to digest, making the email more scannable. Okay, that is the main focus of emails, making it really quick and easy to read, scannable, and of course just drive the click. We want to pique curiosity. We're not trying to sell in these emails. It is literally just trying to get them to click the link, go to the website, and do more digging on the website. Simple language, of course, is going to make it easier for the reader to digest the information, reducing confusion and leading to faster decision making. It also reduces friction in the buying process by making emails more accessible, right? So product descriptions that sell, driving sales for effective copy. Features versus benefits. You've probably heard this many times before, but focusing on benefits rather than just features is going to of course help customers understand how a product meets their needs and ultimately is going to persuade them to make a purchase. I'm going to go through that a bit more depth just after this, but stay with me. Storytelling techniques as well, so narratives around products enhance connection and reliability, making the shopping experience more enjoyable and fostering emotional investment. Creating urgency, so strategies such as limited time offers or low stock notifications can compel customers to act quickly, reducing the chances of indecision or buying fatigue. Utilizing social proof, so customer reviews, testimonials provide authentic validation, influencing new buying decisions by showcasing real experiences with your products. So just to give you a prime example of how benefits sell and of course features tell. A feature would be this jacket is water resistant. In ecom, you know, it's tempting to focus on these features of a product. For example, we might say this jacket is water resistant, as we've done here, but a benefit of this would be stay dry and comfortable even in the heaviest rain. Customers are more interested in how these features will benefit them. Instead, we could say, you know, stay dry and comfortable even in the heaviest rain and see how much happier you are on your walk to work, right? That's a more tailored approach and more beneficial. And just by highlighting the benefits rather than the features helps to induce that emotional trigger of a consumer, making them more likely to purchase, okay? Because it shows how valuable your product or service can bring to their life. So understanding your audience, getting customer insights. You can do this by gathering data through surveys, feedback, and even Klaviyo analytics as well. There's pain points that you can look at, so identifying customer challenges and desires that inform your copy. I'm going to go through this in just a second. And then of course just behavior analysis as well, so studying customer behavior to tailor your messaging effectively. There's heat maps that you can actually view on Klaviyo. I'm not going to go through this now, but you can go ahead and do a Google search and see how to identify heat maps to see where users are actually interacting on your email. So how can you actually go ahead and collect data from your customer? There's actually a place called Reddit or other forums online where you can go ahead and type in, for example, what I did here was I typed in skincare. So if I've got a skincare brand, let's just go ahead and open this up. I can go ahead and see what other people are saying about skincare. So somebody has put here, what actually cleared my skin outside of skincare? So what I would do here is I'd take these 4 valuable points points that a customer has put down, and I'd actually create a value-based email based on these tips of what has actually helped this person with their skin outside of skincare. So this is just adding more value, and this is just how I go about doing market research, and I implore all of my team to go ahead and do this as well. Swiftly moving on. So we've done our market research and gathering data aspect. Now we're going to go ahead and craft compelling subject lines. First thing you need to know, the importance of a subject line is, again, just to grab the attention, using intriguing, concise subject lines to boost open rates, creating urgency, so time-sensitive language to encourage immediate action, and personalization as well. So you can use customer data to create tailored subject lines relevant to their name, or if it's related to their birthday, you can go ahead and personalize it like this as well. My full philosophy here is the subject line is the premiere to your movie. How are you going to pique curiosity to capture viewers' attention and get them through the door? Once you've gone ahead and actually downloaded this document, there's a drop down here. You can see all these other ways in which I would suggest you can test different subject lines and the full process behind them. I'm not going to go through this now, as that's a big block of text and we'd be here all day. So that is subject lines, short, sweet. There's not much to it. It's really a simple philosophy of how are you going to pique curiosity. Next step, optimizing pre-header text. So you can actually go ahead and ask a question with the pre-header text. So for example, we've put here, main subject line, how to get your first 1,000 subscribers. Pre-header text, got more than 1,000, so it gets them thinking, and of course actually follows up with that subject line. Again, that's just the first thing, asking a question. Another way we can do this is just by adding a human element. So establishing a one-to-one connection is essential to improve your email performance metrics. Using personalization in pre-header text will demonstratively enhance your results. So you actually can say their name here. Again, just having that human element. Kareen, your Birchbox is on its way. Does this email look wonky? Okay, so just having that human element to it. Emojis, again, pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to explain why this works. It's just another way in which your email is going to stand out in the email inbox compared to other bland subject lines and pre-header text without emojis. Okay, so go ahead, of course, split test this. Don't try and be one of them spammy brands that do it all the time, but when you want a really effective email to work, you can go ahead and of course just put some emojis in there. So first impression, pre-header text is crucial for enticing readers to open your email. Reinforce the subject, use pre-header text to complement and expand on your subject line, and also tease value. So hint at email's content, increase curiosity, and of course open rates. The hook opening of the email. So the first sentence or paragraph, you want to go ahead and grab their attention from the get-go. So really drill in and address a pain point. So an example here would be struggling to find time to manage your business and still handle customer support. We've got a solution for you. Okay, instantly addresses the pain point and also answers that with a statement of how we can actually go ahead and provide a solution to that. Right, second step, make a bold statement. What if I told you that you could double your sales with one email? That's a bold statement. I'm interested. How? Okay, ask an engaging question. So what if increasing your online store's conversion rate could be easy as a single tweet? Again, a really engaging question. Number 4, offer a quick win. So I want to boost your click-through rate by 50% this week. Here's how. Trigger curiosity. There's one thing your competitors aren't doing that could boost your revenue. Find out what it is. So, what are my competitors doing? That really piques curiosity. Highlight a benefit. So imagine cutting your marketing time in half and still seeing better results. These are all, of course, marketing terms, but I know that you'd understand this a bit better and it's more generic towards marketing rather than, a different ecom brand that we could go down the depths of. Okay. Writing effective email body copy. So how you want to format this is start with a compelling hook to open up that email and of course pique curiosity. Second step, tailor content to email type, whether it's a founder, sale, product demo, or flow. This is just going to be the value infrastructure of your email, and then you're going to back that up with benefits. So focus on customer benefits rather than product features, like I mentioned earlier, and also make it conversational. Write as a person and not as a brand. That is crucial. I'm going to go through this a bit deeper as well, but there's another thing that I want you to understand before we go ahead, and that is the AIDA principle. So this format here is in synergy with this format here. Yin and yang. Attention is your hook. So understanding the AIDA principle. Attention, of course, the hook at the start, drive curiosity. Interest, you want to pick that interest. So actually go ahead with the value part here, how this is going to help with the problem that you're solving, and desire. So you can bridge this desire with benefits or even with customer testimonials as well. And then finally as well, the action part. Simply just get the desired result you're looking for today, or, call to action, right? Not going to go through that any more than what you've just seen here. That's pretty much what I've just explained. Again, just recite this document if you need. Email construction. So how to format for success. Use easy to skim copy. Take them down the funnel with short, powerful sentences. Do not write in a big blocky paragraph. This is not an article. This is an email. Your emails need to be visually digestible. So here's an example of redesign that we done for a brand called Air Up. This was that email before. Really big blocky text, bland, boring, doesn't really drive you down the funnel at all. It's not visually digestible and it's not playful at all. This brand is very playful. If you actually go look at their website, they've got bright, vibrant colors and they are very playful. Here is what we was able to do for them. Of course, visually digestible simple, takes you straight down that entire email. Go ahead and look at this email. Go and open up the Gamma doc. You'll be able to see that email example that we've got there. Another tip, so set the scene. Get the user to envision themselves using the product. Once you've conducted market research, understand your customer to a T, then you will have a good idea of what they do on a day-to-day basis, and you want to paint a picture of them in their mind on how they can actually go ahead and implement this into their daily routine. Okay, so again, go ahead and recite this. What we done for this email, if I just pull it up as well. Where did I put it? So, can you see that? What we done here was, of course, morning, gentle awakening, start fresh, begin your day by waking up your skin with our Basu cloth. They sell makeup cloths for context as well, right? Perfect for cleansing and refreshing your face. Hold your face over a bowl of steaming hot water with a drop of your favorite essential oil. So actually getting them to envision using their essential oil with the product. Drape a towel over your head to trap the steam. That's the morning routine done. Afternoon routine, deep nourishment, mask magic, applying a nourishing face mask whilst it's setting in. Why not sip some herbal tea or read a few pages of your book that you've been meaning to get to? When it's time, remove the mask with your Basu cloth. Okay, so we've actually utilized that routine with our product. Luxurious bath, draw yourself a bath with Epsom salts and a few drops of lavender. So we're actually giving them instructions for having the perfect day, right? And incorporating our product with that. Evening wind down, hydrate and glow. Post bath, lock in moisture with a rich lotion or oil. Your skin will thank you for this quenching treat. End your day with a calming activity, whether it's yoga, meditation, some quiet times with your thoughts. It's your moment to unwind. So this one is just genuine value, and it's not even including the products, right? So it's just really getting them to see how this flow into their daily routine. Crafting powerful call to action. So again, each CTA should have a specific actionable goal. It should create urgency and also use language that encourages immediate action. Last but not least as well, it should stand out like a sore thumb. So that's just more conversion rate optimization purposes. Just make sure the CTA is visually prominent. It doesn't want to blend in with the background. It needs to literally be a polar opposite color to what the background is. Call to action examples to test. Direct, most commonly used for non-essential sales. Of course, shop now. Self-explanatory with the learn more button as well. If it's a value-based email or taking them to a blog, for example, to learn more, that's when you would use that. Every time you have a sale, I would always go ahead and recommend highlighting the offer in the call to action for sale-based emails. We've noticed a really high click rate with those type of emails versus when it's just shop now and it's still that sale-based email. So definitely go ahead and incorporate that. Transform your body today. So use action words to bridge them to their end goal. This is, for example, a weight loss supplement company that he was working with. We said, transform your body today. That was a call to action, talking about how their product's obviously going to help with getting their desired body because it's a weight loss product, right? Self-explanatory with that. So actual tips on how to construct emails. I want you to go ahead and of course just make sure every single email is speaking as a person and not as a brand. So make it about the customer. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. What are their pain points? What are their goals? What are they hoping to achieve? By understanding their needs, you can tailor your email copy to resonate with them on a personal level. Use conversational language. So avoid overly formal language, industry jargon, or technical terms that might confuse or alienate your readers. Instead, use simple everyday language that feels natural and approachable. This means writing as you would speak in a friendly conversation, right? Don't be afraid of using humor. A little humor can go a long way in making your email more engaging, and I'd even say more memorable as well. So just be sure to keep it appropriate for your audience and for your brand. If you're not sure, it's always better to be on the cautious side, okay? So don't feel like it's a necessity, but it's just an optional way to, of course, make your emails more memorable. One of the most powerful ways to connect with your audience in email marketing is to write like a person, not a faceless brand. This means focusing on the customer and using a conversational tone that feels natural and engaging. Imagine you're having a friendly chat with someone, not delivering a corporate message, okay? Again, just some more tips here. Tell stories and don't be afraid to be vulnerable, okay? Just really show personality. People actually like to resonate with people who are open and expressive. Character archetypes and brand tone of voice. So I want you to take a second and imagine a character or a person to be the avatar of your brand. What does this character look like? How do they carry themselves? How do they dress? What tone of voice do they have? Is it a high pitch or low pitch voice? Are they always happy or sometimes sad? I want you to really channel this character, become this avatar, because this person is going to represent your brand. This is exactly how you create copy with ease based on past experiences that you've experienced with real life people or characters, okay? This works effectively because you can act as this new voice for your brand or brands that you work with and speak with that personalized approach. Remember, we are writing with a personal voice, not a brand. So what I'm going to do now is just flick over to some live feedback that I gave to one of my copywriters to show you an example of how we've gone ahead and just took her copy from being okay copy to what I would actually do to make this exceptional copy. So I'm just going to flick over to that now.
Hey Michaela, just thought I'd do a quick learn video, basically go through what I've done and why I've done it so that you don't just see it and you like, it looks good, but why does it make sense? When I've read yours, I can tell a lot of this is like ChatGPT. Key thing with like ChatGPT is like unleash your full potential. Like anytime it says unleash or like seize the opportunity, or why settle for average when you feel extra, I know that's ChatGPT. I've used it enough times to sort of see that's like AI text. I'm not saying you can't use ChatGPT, we encourage it. It's just revise it and make it less generic. With this entire bit of copy here, I think the main thing that I would critique is literally just not using enough pain points and benefits. You've got to think, if you're somebody who's obviously trying to get in shape, right? Somebody who's potentially overweight, which a lot of Corvy's demographic will be. They're a US based supplement brand helping people get into better shape. The biggest people who are going to buy products to help them get into better shape are actually in fact going to be people who are overweight, because they've got the biggest pain point. They're suffering every single day with the same shit and they want it to change. That's why they buy products and, you know, weight loss stuff to help them lose that weight, because they've got that pain point. With this, it's like February fitness boost, power up with our supplements. Very generic and doesn't really hit an emotion at all. So yeah, pretty weak subject line. Unleash your full potential. Discover how our supplements can maximize your performance. Do they care about maximizing their performance? Don't think so. Again, just coming back to my point earlier. Unleash your full potential. Again, still very generic. Shop supplements. Not the most emotive call to action button. Again, so like February is not just another month. It's an opportunity to ramp up your fitness journey, smash those goals you set at the start of the year. Again, it just like, it's all very generic, like the fitness theory. Let's keep going. Why settle for average when you can make it extraordinary? I know it sounds like I'm absolutely shitting on your work at the moment. It's not even a case of doing that. I just want to show you how people are going to perceive this when they're reading it. It's very woo-wah in a way. One point I wanted to add here, like every scoop, every tablet is a step towards the best version of yourself. I'd highly advise away from saying tablet when all their products are completely all natural. Like they're not taking a tablet. It's like, almost sounds like pharmaceutical steroids, which again is far from what Corvy are. I would definitely just go ahead, check out pretty much like a summary of all their products. Honestly, not the best in terms of, I suppose it says here natural health supplements, but yeah, I just go ahead, revise all like the products that they're currently selling. These are the main 5 here, like Corbolic, Coronary, Protein Plus Collagen, NRG, and Hydrate. Keto is also now on there as well, but I don't know, I think they wanted to like sort of put a hold on that. I've left it for this campaign for now anyway. But yeah, just get used to obviously their products and the benefits of each product as well. And also like on the landing pages, there was one a minute ago, it's like before and after images like this. Like these are that demographic. Like these are the people you've got to talk to, the people you see on the before images, right? You got to imagine you're speaking to these people. Cool. So here's what I've done essentially. I've got 2 subject lines here to split tests. One is forward, your dream body has arrived, or you know, your dream body receipt, and then I just put for the subject line your dream body reservation. I've put 2nd of the 4th of the 24th, so that's just 60 days from now essentially, right? And then I've put you are 60 days away from your dream body, so that's their desire, that's their end goal, right? Call to action, I am ready, or get dream body. I think that's actually going to be a better one looking at that now, so let's remove that. Hi, name. Imagine this, it's 60 days from today. You wake up full of energy, you look in the mirror, you see the physique you've always dreamed of, strong, confident and tight. And the reality is today marks the day you stand at the crossroad of your transformation. The decision you make now will redefine the next 60 days and beyond. So this whole segment here, I'm getting them to imagine in the future themselves and how they're going to feel. So I'm helping them connect with their desires, showing them the benefits of imagining this. You know, you're going to feel full of energy, you're going to feel confident when you look in the mirror, and basically just, you know, bridge that gap from where they are now to where they want to be. That's what we're doing here with the product, right? Then underneath all of this, I've put making a change isn't easy, and that's why we have innovated a range of all natural products to help you achieve your dream body. So key points here is making a change isn't easy. So I'm sort of resonating with them now. I'm like by their side, like it's not easy, but that's why. And then again, I'm bridging the gap with our product. That's why we've created our range of all natural products to help you achieve your dream body. That's their end goal. So I've just bridged that gap there. Then underneath that, I've just basically put 5 of their products, which is again the ones from their store here. And I've basically just used for each individual product the main core benefit that they will feel when they use that product, benefit or pain point that will get removed. So no more sluggishness. A lot of these people will be feeling sluggish. They're probably not eating that healthy. They're overweight. They're not going to have a ton of energy, right? So no more sluggishness. They'll think, wow, I could do with no more sluggishness, right? Get this product, like I want this product now. I think maybe looking at this as well, like even having a call to action button potentially underneath each of these products. But anyway, yeah, so no more sluggishness. And then of course I've got a little bit more about, you know, revitalize your body, free from the weight of what's holding you back. Again, coming back to that pain point of what's holding them back, shed the toxins and embrace a lighter, healthier you. And again, I've pretty much done that for all of these. They're not going to go through all of them. I've said for like core hydrate, say goodbye to fatigue. Core bolic, this is like a energy boosting, increasing metabolism supplement. So I've just put like sculpt your waist and ignite your metabolism, visualize a waistline trimmer than ever, and energy that pushes you through your workouts. That's the core bolic kick. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see there. And then underneath all them products, I've just put, you're just 60 days away from your dream physique, a revitalized spirit and a life without the pains of not being in the best shape. Okay, this part I think needs a bit of revision here. I'd probably just scrap that maybe, or just reword that. Then underneath that, I've just put, don't miss this opportunity, commit the next 60 days to shape the future you've always desired, call to action button. That's why I've done this. I hope it makes sense. I know I've gone on a bit of a tangent here, but I hope I've explained that to you in a way where it's like, okay, I've really got to imagine what these people are suffering with on a daily basis. Not to make them feel bad about it. I've not said like, do you hate yourself when you look in the mirror? But I've just said like, imagine how you'd feel in 60 days after you've achieved this. So it's all just about wording how you picture it and paint the picture in their head essentially. I think what might potentially help you as well for Basu and also Corvive is if you was to create like a customer avatar and literally like pull back the profile of the person you're talking to. Like, okay, I'm talking to people who are overweight, I've probably got X problems, and they also want to achieve this, with this product, or like they want to achieve this in their life, right? And it will really help you construct even just like campaigns so that you can really speak to the customer. Other than that, I know this has been a long video. Let me know if you've got any questions. I hope that makes sense, but I just wanted to, of course, break that down as to why I've done that essentially. If you can just tidy this bit up here for me, just go through this, proof it for me, and just tidy it up if it needs it for this. I think it's just these two parts here, then that'll be great, and then we can just send that off. Okay, thank you, Michaela.
Perfect. So implementing and testing your strategies. Just make sure that when you've got a tactic or benefit, just go ahead and A/B test subject lines, pre-header text, even go ahead and just split test call to action buttons. Those are the most common things that you want to split test as well. You also want to make sure that you're tailor messaging specifically to different segments. So just quickly to show you now, different segments in the customer funnel. Somebody's visited the website, they're not going to be as hot as somebody who's actually in the checkout. So the way we talk to them is going to be a bit more open and broad. So for example, if we go down to my site abandonment flow here, we just want to give them slight nudges and be not so pushy, but more open in terms of benefits, USPs of the company, recommend best sellers. You don't want to show off too much here. Somebody who's in the cart, we want to go a bit more heavy with urgency. So just give them a personalized reminder about the products in the checkout. Don't know how long they'll stay in stock. Go back to checkout now. So a bit more pushy, a bit more urgent, because of course these guys have got more intent, right? Why our products are trusted and reduce risk of purchasing. Again, that's just an idea for what you can do for email number 2, and just be specific to the reviews about the products as well. So show them more benefits of case studies that other customers have had, success stories. And then also when it comes to like the final email, be really specific in terms of urgency and really incentivize them to go ahead and take action now. So that's how you want to tailor it based on segments. Of course, dictating your data as well. Just make sure you're looking at your click-through rate to see how many people are actually clicking on your email. That's just a good indication of your subject line, and also your open rates as well. So when it comes to analytics review, let me just open up Klaviyo now quickly. So when it comes to dictating your data and actually seeing the performance of your emails, there's two main metrics that you want to look at, and that is of course your open rate. This indicates how good your subject line and pre-header text are performing, and also your click-through rate. This is how many people have opened your email, clicked call to action, and actually took action to go to the website. Okay, they're the main two indicators here. You can of course go over to your dashboard on Klaviyo and just see whether your rating is good, excellent, or so forth. Anything above good for both of these, you're on the right track. And that is pretty much it. That is literally everything A to Z. If you want this entire doc, I'm not going to go through any more of this. I think that's pretty much everything that we need to cover. You can access this in the description of the YouTube video. Okay. This is a full tutorial showing you exactly how to create high converting email designs for your e-commerce brand. And this is the exact step-by-step process that we've been able to use to generate over $12 million for the brands that we work with. And I guarantee if you follow this to a T, you will be able to achieve similar results to what we've been able to do for our brands that we work with. For example, this email generated $57,000 for Ganja Express, and this email generated around $41,000 for Native Smokes for Less. And these 5 email campaigns generated over £130,000 for Lumi Therapy. I could go on, but all you need to know is that we know exactly what we're talking about when it comes to not only creating designs that look pretty, but absolutely print money. So
Take out a pen and paper, write down some notes, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to create emails that can make millions for your e-commerce brand. Let's get into it.
Right, before we actually go ahead and start designing emails, we need to actually decide how we're gonna create these emails. What platform are we gonna use to create these email designs? So you've got a few choices. You can either go on Canva, you can go on Photoshop, you can go on Adobe Illustrator. All of these options are nowhere near as optimized as the option that I'm gonna present to you, and that is Figma. Now, the reason this tool is so much better for, of course, designing emails is because if you're working in a big team, anyone can hop on to the Figma boards. We can all hop on together. We can collaborate. We can leave comments, and we can even change designs together. So you're not relying on somebody to say, "Can you send that file to me so I can make an edit?" No, you just send them the link and everyone can access it. Okay, so that's one thing. Obviously, leading on to that point as well of everyone being able to access it, you can access your Figma boards anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter if you designed on your desktop at home. If you then go to your laptop and you're in a different country, you can go ahead and access your designs. So you don't need to worry about, oh no, I've left my Photoshop file saved on my computer at home. It's like, no, it's all here, digital, online in your browser. That's the second thing. Thirdly, if you're designing flows like this for a brand and you're building out a bunch of different flows like the welcome series or browser abandonment flow, you can actually have these side by side, nice and neat. And if you wanted to just grab a different element, like this element over here, I can then go ahead, grab that element, copy and paste it over here and use different parts of the branding just to make sure it's all cohesive. I'm not saying you can't do this on Photoshop, it's just nowhere near as optimal, okay? I could go on. Those are the three main reasons as to why you want to use Figma. Plus, also it's free as well to use. So anyone can go ahead and start learning on Figma. So once you've gone in, obviously set up your account, what you want to do is just come up to the top here and create a new design. And again, I'm not going to go through this. This is not a full Figma design tutorial. All you need to know from this page here is these are your recent designs. This is how you create a new design. That is it. You don't want to overcomplicate it. So let's go ahead, create a new design. You're going to label this whatever your brand's going to be. So brand name, that's your brand name. And what you're going to do is just go ahead and change the page color. I don't like working on light pages. It's a lot easier to work on a dark page for seeing your emails. What I would always go ahead and do as well from this position here, just to give you a sort of a rundown, is just set up a frame. So pull out a new frame. And again, we're just going to change the color of that frame. As you can see over here, just make it a little bit lighter so that we can make a board for your emails, just like I've done here. Right, so I've got darker background, a little bit of a lighter frame, and then of course you can have your emails inside of here. Okay, so just coming back here, if you're doing like a welcome series, you just want to name this welcome series. Okay, if it's campaigns, you just want to name it campaigns. Right, now that's established, of course that has been populated into your layers, so you need to be mindful of layers. Whatever is at the top of the layer section is what's going to appear on top of that frame. Okay, just speed around a bit quickly there, but I just wanted to go through the basics, setting up the name, of course how to change the page color, how to actually go ahead and rename your frame. Now, how would you actually go ahead and create an email? So again, we're just going to create another frame and put it inside that frame here. Now, you don't just want to go ahead and create a size like this and say, hey, that looks like an email size. That's fine. That's good to go. There's actually a specific dimension for the width for your emails. So just come up here and do 600 for the width. And then, of course, the height, we don't really care about the height just yet. Now, the reason we don't care is because, simply put, we don't know how long the email is going to be just yet. And maybe I should have made this box a little bit bigger. So, okay, that's a bit better, right? So, yeah, we don't know the height of the email yet because we've only just literally started building it from scratch. We don't know how long it's going to be until we start filling it out with different copy, images and graphics, etc. So for now, you just want to make sure it's 600 in width, okay? What you want to do is just go ahead and start to populate your images and text. So if you've got an image, so for example, your brand logo, you want to go ahead. For me, I've got a different monitor over here. I'm just simply going to go ahead and drag and drop one of my logos onto this graphic here. Cool. So I've got my logo. This is obviously my company logo. I can then go ahead and drag it into here, but it doesn't fit, right? So rather than just going ahead like this and being a little noob and trying to fix it, you don't want to do that. You want to hold shift on your keyboard and you can scale in proportion to, of course, the size of the graphic. Again, if you want to keep it in the middle, you can try and do this free roam around without clicking shift, or if you hold shift, you can move nice and smoothly left and right. And again, same for up and down. If I don't hold shift, I will go all over the place. So that's all you really need to know. Shift is to lock in the vertical and horizontal scaling. And again, shift is also to lock in the size control as well. Okay. Cool. That's pretty much the basics. We've just added in an image. Now what we want to do is come up to the toolbar here. Of course, you understand the frames. We don't want to use frames to create shapes, but there's actually a tool here for creating shapes. So again, you can see all these different shapes here. For now, I'm just going to select a rectangle and just draw a rectangle onto my email. Again, holding shift right now just so I can keep it nice and locked in, and I'm just going to drag it into the middle. Now, if I actually want to go ahead and mess around with the color of this shape, if you come over and select the toolbar on the right hand side, you'll see we've got the design toolbar. So I can do some different blending options here. Wouldn't really mess around with this if you're just starting off, but you can change the color of this shape as well. So you can change any single color, okay? There's also gradients as well. So again, you can see I've got a nice gradient here. Top one, this color, I can change that by selecting this tool here. Let's say I wanted it to be green, I can do that. Again, same here, if I wanted that to be a different color, I can change that. This is just me giving you a prime example of how to use this, okay? Now, if I wanted to actually have this be a circle, I could go ahead and select the ellipse tool, or you can actually go ahead and round off shapes on this selector here. So I'm just dragging that all the way to the side. I've now got a nice circle. For now, I just want to have rounded edges, right? And for that, we're just going to select 50. Okay. So now I've got a nice rounded square. It's coming along, right? It's looking beautiful. So now if I wanted to go ahead and actually add a picture in here, let me just get a quick picture. Again, just found a picture of my old car on here. So drag that onto here. And of course, I've now got a picture of my car. Right now, if I wanted this car to fit nicely inside of that square, what I would do is go ahead and just make sure the image is on top of the rectangle. Click on that rectangle, right click, and what we're going to do is use it as a mask. So I've just used that as a mask. Now I'm going to select this image, and you'll see it fits nice and neat into that box, right? Okay, so we're getting somewhere. We've added an image, we've added a square, we've added a logo. Other than that, other than these shapes that you can mess around with, you can also mess around with pen and pencil tools. Honestly, these are just for more drawing like random shapes and messing around here. Again, I wouldn't really mess around with this if you're just starting off, okay? Other than that, of course, text boxes. So if I want to go ahead and now add some text in, I've just selected the text tool at the top, literally say headline, this car is cool. And as you can see, I can't actually see that text. I just put that into that mask. So I've just dragged it off that mask. This car is cool. Let's turn that into extra black. And of course, just change the size. Okay. If you wanted to change the font as well, you can change all the fonts here. Okay. That's how you add a text block. And if you wanted to centralize that, you click on these 3 lines in the middle and we're getting somewhere. Now, if I wanted to duplicate this text block because I'm trying to be quick and efficient, you can hold Alt on your keyboard and Shift, and I'm now dragging this in a nice vertical line beneath. I can then double click that text, quickly change that to a different thing. Of course, please like and subscribe for more tutorials. Thanks. Okay, so I've now added some body text. If I do Control A on my keyboard and select all of this, or you can just double click this entire text block, we can quickly change the size of this over here like so. And again, just imagine this is like a nice paragraph. The email's coming to life. This is of course the beginning of the design. I don't want to go into too much depth on how to actually go ahead and design emails further than this. I just wanted to show you the basics of how to actually understand, you know, the different layers that we've got, the actual size of the email, and of course, just basically how to set this all up as well. Okay, so Figma is the go-to tool for design. If you want to learn more about Figma, I would just go on to other YouTube videos or wait for me to bring out an in-depth tutorial for this. This is not going to be a complete tutorial / guide for Figma. Okay, this is just a quick 10-minute introduction to the channel. Let's actually go into how you can start building out designs for your e-commerce brand. Yes. So welcome to my PowerPoint presentation that's not a PowerPoint because I've done it on Figma. First of all, just before I go through this entire process from A to C, how you can actually construct email designs, import them into Klaviyo, like everything, just a bit of context. Of course, everything that I'm showing you today is universal. So of course, this is my team. I've got a full team of, account managers, copywriters, strategists, technicians, and of course, designers. It's actually a lot bigger than this. I just haven't updated it. It's completely universal. So whether you're just like an independent one-man band, a freelancer, or you are genuinely like a full-blown team, everyone is going to benefit from this. So this is literally the only video you will need for, of course, creating email designs. Okay. Now, what you need to understand is for this to actually work, you need a process in place and a structure. So what you want to do is have either A, your copywriters, or you're doing it yourself, you want to basically have a template in order to create copy, right? So before you can even think about designing, you need to actually have your copy written out for your email. So this is a template. You can access this. Of course, you just click on the call to action button at the top. Basically, you want to put in whatever month this is. And again, you want to update this every single month, so you don't just have a cluster of just thousands of email campaigns. Every month you update this, and of course you update it with your brand name. Put the date in for the email, and of course the angle as well for that email campaign. Okay. Subject line 1, subject line 2, preview line 1, preview line 2. This is just so you can split test the different subject lines here. Okay. Up to you. If you only just want to use one, go ahead and do that. I would always advise split testing 2 different subject lines. Design ideas. So this is of course for the actual design of the campaign. So if you go onto a website, I'm going to go into this a bit later on as well, how you can actually get inspiration from other brands and other emails. You can literally go ahead, pull up an email, copy the URL, and then you're going to put that URL in the design idea section here, right? So that's just so your designer knows exactly the vibe and feel of that email, right? Hero image text. So hero image essentially is the top section of your email. That is the hero image at the top. We're going to go through this a bit more thoroughly in a second. Hero image, call to action text. Again, that's just what the call to action buttons on your email is going to be throughout. So if the call to action is shop now, that's going to be the same throughout. Okay. And you just want to have that as your call to action text. Then also as well, just make things a bit easier, a bit more streamlined. So the designer knows exactly what the link for that call to action button is going to be. You want to put the call to action link there. So if it's shop now, you want to go to your website and of course put the shop now link, whether it's your collections page or the actual product page. Depends on the actual angle of the email. Okay. Body copy, again, pretty self-explanatory. That's like the bulk value section of the email. And yeah, that is literally it. Okay. So now that we've got this established, I want to show you how we've actually done this for one of our clients. So this is the email design that we came up with. And the reason I'm showing you this as well is because it's not a heavy sales based campaign and it actually got some really good results. So if we actually open this up in Klaviyo, you'll see that was the 11th of August campaign, the reviews highlight. Again, you can see the preview here as well. Done around $37,000 in revenue, really good open rate, really good click rate. And again, just to sort of compare that to like our payday sale campaign, it was only around 11K less than what our payday sale campaign done. So just want to put it out there, like you don't always want to focus on sell campaign. You do want to have different types of angles that are adding value to your customers. And usually I do this in a ratio of like 5-to-1 or 4-to-1. It depends on the brand. That being like 4 emails where one's like a social proof one, one's an educational one, one's a value-based one, and then again maybe another like educational one or product benefits campaign. And then you want to go in for the sell, right? People don't always want to be sold to, and it's really important as well that you give out value and of course become an expert to your audience, showing that you can actually like be somebody who's trustworthy and they actually care about their clients rather than always just trying to take their money, right? We go through that in my free email course. I'll put it in the description as well of this video where you can see of course the full strategy, everything you need to know about email marketing. But this video is solely just going to be based on of course designing emails, right? So yeah, that's the example we done, and how that actually looked in terms of the copy is, of course, we had the date for that campaign, why people keep coming back to us. Again, this is what I'm saying, we don't always need to split test 2 subject lines, so it's completely up to you. Here at image text, the verdict is now, call to action button is shop now. Again, we've been working with this brand for quite a long time, which is why we've not put the call to action links. The designers will know what they're doing right now, but again, you always want to make sure you fill this in. Body copy, again, very brief with some screenshots of reviews because this was a review based campaign. Call to action button is of course shop now, right? So that was for the 11th of August. And again, you can see there's a lot more different campaigns in here. You always want to have the copy made before you send it over to the designer. Once that's been approved and you proofread all the copy in here, send it over to the designer. And of course, they can then go ahead, bring it to life. So of course, you see the cover image text here where it says the verdict is in, shop now. Body copy, again, just comes through, a little bit of value section. These are the screenshots that we sent over, so they've actually designed that. And again, final call to action button. Again, footer should be universal for every single email. You don't want to have different footers. And it's the same as well with the top sort of format in terms of like the banner at the top and also the logo for the brand. That's just the general gist of it. I don't want to complicate this too much. I want you to just understand the actual process here where we're going from copy to design. So you want to make sure you have templated email copy written on a doc, then you send it over to your designer, or if you're doing this individually, hopefully you can then use that as a reference to actually go ahead and build it out when you're designing it. Okay. Now, in terms of understanding copy and CRO, so this is not going to be a full copywriting course, but I just want to give you the basics and let you understand how you should go ahead and of course be writing this out so that it's also going to be beneficial for selling the click, which comes into CRO, conversion rate optimization. Okay. So really just selling the click. Now, the best way I can do this is using just a brief example for another client of mine. Essentially, when it comes to, of course, selling a product and being heavy on product benefits, you want to go ahead and really just paint a picture of them implementing your products into their day-to-day life. So what I would do is research what they do on their day-to-day life, set the scene, just find out their pain points, stuff that you can talk to so you can relate to them. And of course, then you can use your products to tie into that pain point. So for example, for this campaign, we just basically framed it as like, who says you need to step out to experience spa luxury? So that's obviously just pain point is experiencing spa luxury, which is expensive. Here's how you can do this and get the same benefits at a cheap, cost-effective rate with our products. And how we paint a picture is morning, gentle awakening. So you've woken up, start fresh to your day, begin your day by waking up. Your skin with our Basu cloth is perfect for cleansing and refreshing your face. And then again, afternoon as well, and then evening. So I'm not going to read all of that. I hope you get a gist of it in terms of how we'd actually paint that picture, and they can actually imagine themselves using this and making it a habitual routine. And they're like, okay, I can actually justify this being a good investment because I'm going to use it every single day. Hope that sort of gets that point across to you. Okay. Other sort of basics and principles you want to have in terms of conversion rate optimization is one clear call to action per email. You don't want to create decision fatigue. I see a lot of brands, they'll have an email and it's talking about their product, and then at the bottom they're talking about their podcast and they're saying join our community, download our app, and it's like, why am I reading this entire newsletter leaflet? What do you want me to do? What am I meant to do here? Right? So don't create decision fatigue. One clear call to action per email. Also, just make sure it's easy to digest, skimmable, and straight to the point. So really just remove the fluff and sell the click. The email is not there to actually sell them the product so they can buy it on the email. The email is there to get them to be curious, create the curiosity, click the call to action button on the email, and go to the landing page that you're sending them to. Okay. Coming back to my point regarding conversion rate optimization, call to action should stick out like a sore thumb. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be color, because if I started making this like green or, red for the call to action buttons, it's just going to be, really ugly. It's not in tune with our brand guidelines, but you need to make sure it looks like a call to action button, at least look clickable, right? Okay, this is clearly a button that I meant to click. Okay. General structure for the email. Clear cover image. So cover image being at the top, clear cover image. What is this email about? I instantly know what this email about. And of course I can see there's an incentive as well because it's on the call to action button. That's really, really big. 90% of our emails have a call to action in the cover image. Okay. Intro / framing for the email campaign angle. So literally this bit of text here, again, it's easy to digest and skimmable. They don't necessarily need to read this part, but it says, who says you need to step out to experience spa luxury? That's framing the email. I know what this campaign is going to be about, and it's going to sell me down that. It's going to drive me down that email campaign. Okay. Body copy. This is usually the value section. So that's like whether it's reviews or just generally like product benefits, whatever the main bulk of the email is, that's always going to go in the body copy. Okay. Then finally, summary, why you should click the call to action button. Don't have a Basu cloth. Now is the perfect time to get it because it's 50% off. That's a summary, right? And then of course, again, call to action. Pretty basic. The only other thing I'd say to mention here as well is the footer. You always want to have a universal footer. So this section here will go on every single email. You don't want to have different footers for every single email, okay? Especially when it comes to flows. Same for sort of like the top part here with like the banner or the logo. It always needs to be cohesive and consistent. You don't want to start having different logos and stuff that's just going to completely throw off the branding, because we want to make sure that there's no pattern interrupt when it comes to branding, all right? Because we need to get them to be familiarized with the brand. Last tip. This is very, very important. And I think if you understand this one piece of advice that I'm about to give you, you don't need to do any copywriting courses. You just need to be good with understanding how people act and understanding different personality types just in nature. So if your brand was a person or a character and you had to visualize in your head what this character looks like, how would they talk? What tonality would they use? How would they act? What's their sense of humor? So for example, we have a brand who sells cartridges, or they sell weed supplies, right? Like cannabis supplies. I said to our copywriter, the tonality and avatar for this person is, you want to imagine that you've been taken down to a saloon where there's a guy who's like at a bar and he's about to sell you drinks. So usually the guy's like, a big masculine man. He's like, yeah, so what can I get you, man? And it's like a bar type of vibe and character, if that makes sense. Some guy at a saloon, sort of like Wild West days. They're not going to talk like using feminine tonality. It's going to be very driven towards dry sense of humor, more masculine tone, and that's obviously going to be what the customer's going to relate to. I hope that sort of makes sense. Just try and picture or actually find a character on Google who you can channel every time that you create an email for your brand or for your client's brand. Okay, that's the biggest bit of advice. Every time, if you can actually become a master at channeling different avatars and different people and visualize being that character, you will become a master copywriter. Okay, so we now understand copy and conversion rate for design, and also the process and infrastructure for making sure that it's not going to become a cluster of process when you're actually doing copy versus design. They're two different things, so you want to systemize them. Let's go through designs. So before I actually go into how you can start creating designs, it's good for you to understand the problem in the market that currently exists. So most e-com brands, they send out boring copy and pasted templated emails that are just dull, boring, and they just don't get any engagement. So you've probably seen stuff like this before. This is actually Prime's current email they've got for their welcome series. Air Up, this is what their one looks like. Nutraseed as well, and even Gosney. So they're just very dull, boring. There's no life here. I can't easily digest this. Like, this doesn't even look like an email. It's just blocks of text. It's awful. There's just no sort of skimmable text for me to read to actually just go, okay, I understand what this is about. Quick, I can just click on there. I can see they've got an offer going on. I'm going to buy their product right now. Okay, that's the problem in the market. Now, just to sort of give you a before and after how we would fix this problem, this is what we've done for Air Up. So this is that one I just showed you a second ago. Look how much vibrant and more popping it is and how much more inviting this is. Again, same with Prime. This is the before, this is the after that we've done. Nutraseed, again, before and after with the colors. We even done one for like Molly May recently as well. Just thought I'd add that in. And even that Gosney one as well. So I clearly know they're selling pizzas. There's a pizza oven here. I can see these two different pizza oven products. Oh, actually, I'm quite interested in what this one's about. Or this one looks cool. I'm going to click that now. All right. So our emails are exciting. They're addictive and they pull the user in, making a new customer experience in each email, which excites the customer with every single newsletter. So with attention span at an all-time low with social media, everyone's self-diagnosing themselves with ADHD. We need to make sure each email is easy to read and drives the click. We're not selling. We don't need to flood them with information here. We just need to take them to the website or the landing page that we want to send them to. Again, here's problems in the market that everybody else is focusing on. They're focusing on sale campaigns, bestsellers, and seasonal emails. They're waiting for Christmas to its, Boxing Day sales and Black Friday. We don't want to do that, right? Don't focus on these minimal sales and bestsellers and just focus on product, me, give me your money. It repels customers. Instead, what we focus on is building community, increasing lifetime value, and getting customers to see all aspects of the brand, whether it is adding more value to their life, highlighting product benefits, or even showing other success stories from your customers. So there are a multitude of ways we can sell your products without just the sale after sale campaigns. So for example, FAQ emails, a lot of your customers are going to be lazy. They don't have the time or patience to go to your frequently asked questions page and actually get the answers they were looking for about your product. So what we do is we send it out as an email campaign. Okay. Reviews campaigns as well. I showed you a review campaign earlier showing other customers' reviews. They work really, really well. If it's not a review campaign, maybe you've got an amazing success story or case study, a before and after from your customer. Show how your product or service has completely changed their life, right? This works really well with visual changes, whether it's like weight loss or skincare, stuff like that. Before and after sell. Breaking myths. So breaking down industry myths, debunking common myths that aren't actually true. Give them the cold hard facts, the science about why this actually works and why your product is actually proven to get them the result they're looking for. Okay, so there's so many different ways we can actually add value to their life, even if it's just giving them like 5 tips on how to get better skin and you're selling skincare products. But the 5 tips that you're using, only one of them is talking about one of your products. The rest is genuinely like, use this type of skincare routine, use, fill the blank. All right. So really just add value and your brand will start to skyrocket. And this is just general when it comes to marketing as a whole. Okay. Just adding value, showing that people can trust you, build that relationship and just become a common brand at the top of their mind. Okay, so I think we've pretty much established copy. You now understand conversion rate optimization, what makes a bad email, what makes a good email, even what makes a good campaign and what to focus on as well. But how do we actually go ahead and get designs like this? How do we go from nothing at all on my screen to something bright, beautiful, vibrant, sells a click, and of course gets people addicted to your email letters? And it's quite simple. You want to get inspiration from other brands. So what I've done here is I've gave you a list of websites, that being Really Good Emails, Mill.com and Pinterest. Okay, so we're just going to open these up now. Okay, Mill.com, Really Good Emails, and even Pinterest, right? Although Pinterest can be a bit hit and miss. It really does depend on what you're looking for. So if you went on Pinterest and typed in emails, ecom, quite generic, but if you typed in maybe beauty emails, you might get a better result. Completely up to you. I would probably stick to reallygoodemails.com and Milled, okay? So for example, what we've done here is we found a brand called Surreal, right? And they sell, I think it's just cereal with some additional benefits related to calories and being healthy, right? It's healthy cereal. What you want to go ahead and do is literally copy that image, and you can then go ahead and just drag this into Figma, right? So this is actually an image that I've dragged in. And then what I've done is I've ripped this apart and created a wireframe. So I've literally done logo, image, again, text, call to action buttons. It's literally a spitting image. It's exactly the same. You can then go ahead, add your brand logo in. You can add your cover image. You can change all the text, branding, and no one's really ever going to know. You can, of course, add your own twist to it. You know, if you don't want a curved line here, you know, change it to a rounded one, and you know, rounded one here. No one's ever going to tell the difference. Let's actually go ahead, show you how I've done this wireframe so you can understand the mechanics of Figma. So I haven't actually gone into what Figma is. This is the design tool that we use. And the reason we use Figma versus Photoshop, Canva, or any other platform is simply because Figma is a great tool for collaborating with teams. So I can have about 20 different people on here at one time. We can all leave comments. We can all work together, and it's a lot easier to, of course, work with big projects. Let's move into, of course, how we actually go and create this wireframe. Quick one. So just interval break. I was going to include this in the entire YouTube video, like me going ahead, creating this entire wireframe, but it's like 18 minutes long and I just didn't want to make this video too long. So what I've done is I've uploaded this entire time lapse of me building it out. So if you do actually want to go ahead, see how I done this, there's no voiceover or anything. It's just something where you're gonna have to watch it and you can follow along side by side if you want to build up that same email. But what I've done is I've uploaded it to this folder here. So when you go ahead and download this Figma board, obviously just click the call to action button here. You'll click that and it'll take you to that page where obviously I've embedded the video. So yeah, perfect. So I've just shown you how to create a wireframe for, of course, an email template that you can then go ahead and populate yourself. But I think it would actually be good to break down a complete before and after that we done for a brand that we found on Milled.com. They're called Plunge. Essentially, they sell ice baths. So before we go into this, just quickly, Milled, what they do is they are basically a library of brands that you can go ahead and do some research on that emails. So you can see Nordstrom here, you can see Best Buy, Famous Footwear. You can literally basically look at most brands on here. So it's like a Facebook ad library for emails essentially. Then alternatively, there's reallygoodemails.com, which is more based on niche related keywords. So that being like if you wanted to look for apparel, fitness, supplements, etc., stuff like that, you can go ahead and be more keyword specific rather than, of course, brand specific. So something to mention regarding that. In terms of the before and after, so I saw this email from Plunge, saw it on Milled, and I just thought, you know, this could be a really effective campaign if they just jigged the design up a bit, changed a few things with the call to action button, and just laid this out so it's more visually digestible. So of course, at the moment, spring sale, time is running out, save up to $1,500 on the Plunge, small batch of UGC images, and then of course a shop now button. Let's just go through that together at the top here. So just make this a lot more simplistic at the top and not use up so much screen estate. Plunge, of course, their logo. Spring sale, just in tune with their branding. This is vibrant, it pops out a lot more. And then of course we have time is running out, save up to $1,500 with the Plunge. Get up to $1,500 off. This is huge. So changing the call to action button just to basically show them again this huge money saving bonus. Then of course this is just so much more vibrant, popping, it sucks you in. You want to go through and of course see more of the email, right? Up to $1,500 off, 24 months financing, 0% interest. If you've been waiting to take the plunge, time is now, all ends on the 3rd of the 31st. How much easier is that to digest? Even just using colors to break it down, 0% interest, up to $1,500 off, 24-month financing. Which one can you look at and see from here, which is much more appealing? Okay, I'll let you decide. Boost your benefits. Again, cool. I love it. How can we make that a little bit better? Visually digestible. So I've not done the actual graphics for each individual one here, but we would have individual graphics here for healing, improve circulation, boost energy levels, mood, so forth. Okay. Love my plunge. Again, show somebody loving their plunge. What's more appealing here? Another thing as well, 0 cost and delivery, 12-month warranty. Even just having different colors and making it pop a little bit more, some graphics, and even just laying out the headlines so the headline's bold and they can skim this. It's a lot more easier to skim that than these ones, and it just stands out so much more. It's tiny things that can really just elevate the entire email design. A lot of this is, of course, branding, colors, and just general like layout in terms of design. Even just this part here, it looks crammed, it's claustrophobic. I can't even really see what that is. Same with this one, same with this one. How much easier is that? Even the perceived value looks a lot better as well, because it's like the layout, the design. Of course, I'm being very design centric here, which is what we need to do because it's a design video, right? I hope this makes sense. Of course, really nice thin footer with that branding again, just remind them who we are. Social medias here, don't need all this text. We've just done it here. All right, no one's going to read this anyway. Like, let's be realistic. Who's reading this? Okay, that's the before and after. Pretty much all done now. The only thing we need to go through is once you've done your design, have you actually gone ahead and gone through and checked it? Have you done a checklist? If not, here's your checklist from me to you. Okay, that will literally be on this Figma board. You just need to click here and just cross-thread it, cross-check it. That's it. We're done now. All we need to do is actually go ahead, chop this design up and put it into Klaviyo. So how do we actually go ahead and import this into Klaviyo? Let's go through that right now. Cool. So I just wanted to use a different example to make it a bit easier for you to understand how we can actually export this onto Klaviyo. So what you want to do is, of course, go onto Klaviyo, and every time we put a email design into Klaviyo, you want to make sure you save it as a template. So we're going to go over to the template section here on content, and we're just going to create a blank email. Okay, so of course, two things to be mindful of is one being desktop, two being mobile. There's two variations here, so you need to adapt it for each. But to begin, let's just delete all the content in this email that we don't need. I would always keep the bottom bit of text here because you want to make sure you've got an unsubscribe link for the bottom of your emails. Again, it's just something mandatory when it comes to sending out emails for deliverability. And of course, just to make sure your account's all nice and healthy as well. So never take this out. Let's just go ahead and begin by deleting that bit of content at the top. And what you need to understand is when it comes to actually importing this into Klaviyo, you don't want to go ahead and just select the entire email and then of course export it as one big image. Just coming back to deliverability, if you do that, you're going to end up in spam or promos tab because of course it's just one big image, right? So to avoid that, what we want to do is just begin by slicing this entire email into a mixture of text versus images. So how do we know where we need to actually slice it? So I would always go ahead and just slice the entire top down to where the first text block is. So this is obviously going to be a text block. We're going to add this in manually, right? Just go ahead and slice that down to the first text block. Just make sure it's all perfectly aligned on both sides as well. And as you can see, export, and always just do the drop down to see the preview. Make sure everything that you want to export is in that preview. Export that slice, come back over to Klaviyo. Then what we're going to do is just drag an image into the top, select image, and then of course what we're going to do is actually go ahead and upload the image, and you'll see that image right there. Okay, so that's now exported into here. Of course, just come back to your design as well. You'll see with this text block, what we want to do is just make sure we're cross-referencing the exact same font settings that we've got and the color, etc. So I'm just going to copy the color quickly now. I can see it's Poppins is the text type. It's bold. We've used 25 for the font size. Let's actually go ahead and add that in now. So text, of course, double click on that text block as well. We're going to select Poppins, and let me just add Poppins in as well quickly now. Cool. So yeah, if you don't have the font, usually you can either go on Google or Adobe Fonts or actually import it yourself manually. Type in Poppins and you'll see that's now, of course, the font that we want to use. Fallback font. So this fallback font will be used when your web don't essentially load that. So let's say somebody can't actually load this on their phone for whatever reason. This is like a fallback font that you'd have as like a default. I'd usually say anything that matches that sort of same font type. So Tahoma's pretty close to Poppins. Just add that in as a fallback font. Now let's just double click on that text block to actually go ahead and edit this. Poppins normal 400. We want it in bold. So we're just going to go over to the bold section here. It was 41 for the size. It was also centralized, and this bit of text was actually that color because I've copied that hex code from the color type. So we're now going to add that in. And you also just want to copy and paste the actual text as well. So like so, and it's just done it back to default. 2 secs. So let's just add that back in. 41, bold, and we're starting to get there, right? I would always also go ahead and just add this as a brand new separate text block as well. So let's just go back, another text block. Of course, make sure it is the exact same font. So what we're going to do is go and set that font again. Make sure it's the same as what's on here. So you can see it's 18 and it's regular. So we are going to keep it as it is. 18, and then of course align it, centralize it, and that's good to go. Okay, let's just make it black as well, right? So you can see obviously this is how we start to build it out. I'm not going to go through this entire email with you now, but essentially, of course, what I would do now, go ahead, drag this down to the next image because I want to include that little sun icon we've got there. Then of course this will be another text block as well. Okay, so I'm just going to shut up now and speed run this so you can see how I'd go ahead and do that. So that is the email obviously done in terms of design. One thing to just check, check on mobile as well. How does the font look? If the font's all sloppy like this, what you need to go ahead and do is just adjust it so it matches obviously what you're seeing on here. Before you go ahead and do that though, what you want to do is just make sure you duplicate the text block and just leave the top one so that it shows only on desktop and then the bottom one only on mobile. So obviously that mobile one's just disappeared now. I can then go on mobile and adjust this. Let's just make sure it's 14 and obviously just make sure it does actually look like how it's meant to. So exactly how it's meant to. And then what you need to do is just adapt that for all the text as well. So that's now done for the desktop. Again, let's do the same here. Duplicate that. Display only on desktop for the top one and then only on mobile for the bottom one. Come back, adapt this so it is 14 and that is it. So that's all good now for the desktop and also the mobile. The only thing you want to do is whenever there's a call to action button, so you see I have this entire image, I've just made it a call to action button anyway. It's going to help with that click-through rate because more people, if they do miss this call to action button, accidentally tap on the screen, well, it's going to take them to that website that we're sending them to. So what you want to do is for the product page that you want to send them to. So this brand is called Earth Rhythm. Go find the link for the exact product. So let me just grab this quickly as well. I believe that's the exact product. Copy the link and you're just going to change the link address here and just call this CTA for the alt text, and you're just going to do that throughout, right, on the call to action buttons, CTA, and that is it. All I would do now is just preview, so just see how it looks on, of course, desktop and also mobile. Just double check it. I would even go as far as sending this to yourself as well, so you can send a test here, just put your email address in and it will send you the exact email to your email inbox, so you can see exactly how it looks before you go ahead and send this out. But that is pretty much this done for that tutorial. Of course, now if you do want to access this design, when you go to send out a campaign, you can literally go ahead, create a new campaign, of course fill all this stuff in. Once you do that, go through all of these different sections here where you're going to of course send this to. You're going to send it to your newsletter. Okay, next, of course, you'll be able to see your saved templates. So that's the exact template here. You'd select that and you click use this template. Okay,
So in today's video, I want to show you the 7 most common design mistakes that we see a lot of e-commerce brands making when it comes to designing their emails. Now, a lot of these mistakes are probably going to be preventing you from actually scaling your brand to 6 to 7 figures with your back-end remarketing. So let's just go ahead and look at these mistakes and of course best practices for design.
So let's actually go ahead and check out the 7 most common mistakes people make in terms of email design. Now, if you stick with me by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to go ahead and create emails that not only convert, but also help you scale with, of course, brand consistency. So let's go ahead and look at the first mistake. Now, poor mobile optimization. I've got a graphic here to sort of illustrate desktop versus mobile. There is actually a quick fix for this, but let's actually look at what happens if you don't take this into consideration. So the facts and also the stats. Mobile is the most popular reading environment with 44.7% of the share. Mobile email accounts for 26 to 78% of email open rates. And of course, the 71.6% of consumers will delete emails if they don't look good on mobile. So this is essentially what will happen is basically it will lower your conversions, ROI, and also result in higher unsubscribes. So you want to make sure that you're designing this with mobile intent as well. Now, what we do is just make sure that we have a maximum width of 600 pixels for our email designs, and that should cover, of course, this column that you see for both email and desktop. Mistake number 2. So the second mistake we see a lot of brands make is they just have a cluttered layout. So for example, what we've done for this brand here, Maxi Nutrition, you'll see on the left they've got a cluster of just different layout for collections, graphics here for I think that Instagram, and again Trustpilot, reviews. Like there's a lot of cluster here. So that's the second mistake. What we'd always oppose doing is just having it in one column. So rather than having 3 blocks here, as you can see, like there's 3 columns, it's too clustered, right? At a max, obviously you'll have 2, but ideally you'd want to keep it to 1 column, as you can see here, nice and consistent, and you can easily go down the email. So that was mistake number 2. Now, the third mistake we see is a lack of clear call to actions. Now, either a lack of clear call to actions, or I'd go as far as saying too many call to actions. So for example here, this brand has got like women's collection, men collection, shoes. It doesn't even look like a call to action, it's just like one cluster of different collections here. I'd never advise doing this in this format for an email. I think this is a really outdated email anyway, you can sort of tell from the screenshot that we've got here. So yeah, having too many call to actions will create decision fatigue and result in a lower click-through rate. Too little call to actions will have the same effect as well, and also CTAs that don't even look like buttons, they won't get clicked. So for example, Airbnb here, see how it says add photo, add verifications and start exploring. Yeah, you can see it's a call to action button, but when it comes to conversions and emails as a whole, you want to sort of have basically a contrasting color for the call to action buttons. That's just a general rule of thumb as well when it comes to website conversion or anything that you want to draw attention to. So that's pretty much mistake number 3 we see. Now mistake number 4 is just inconsistent branding. Now this is a really shock example as well from this brand here. These are actually the same brands, but you probably wouldn't be able to tell it unless it had this logo at the top here, which matches this one. So you can just see a random clash of colors here. This makes no sense whatsoever. And then this one on the right just looks like a complete different brand. So things that you want to keep in mind to, of course, keep consistent and the same throughout all of your emails is the logo. So use the same logo for all emails. Now when it comes to mobile versus desktop, you can actually adapt this because sometimes your logo might not fit on mobile as well as it would on desktop and vice versa, so you just want to play around with that, but again, just keep it consistent. Fonts, so I would advise creating a list of fonts for your headings, your subheadings and also your body text. That's just a general rule of thumb. Again, you should have this with your brand palette or your brand guidelines when you've actually innovated your brand from scratch. If not, go ahead and do that. And again, I do the same thing as well with colors as well. Make sure you've got a color palette for your brand. Tonality, keep tone of language for your brand the same as well, and also imagery, just make sure your imagery is cohesive throughout. So that's mistake number 4. Now mistake number 5 is ignoring accessibility. So the reason's simple, right? If people are having trouble viewing, reading, clicking or even understanding your email campaigns, they're not going to take the action that you have intent, right? They're not going to do what you need them to do. So always set an intention for the email, make sure it is tailored to a specific goal, that being to either add value and educate people, add trust, via social proof, brand story or objection handling, and also just to incentivize people as well. If it's strictly a sale email, you want to have that offer there, right? Another thing to make sure that you're doing as well when it comes to your emails is making sure it can be read by a 6th grader. A lot of people overcomplicate language and use terminology that a lot of people don't actually understand. So what you want to do is go ahead and check out a website called Readable and just go ahead and of course use your copy in here. So you can literally put in here like your entire email and just make sure it's basically passes the 6th grade tool, right? Next step as well is just make sure when you are having contrasting colors and you're doing it efficiently, coming back to my point earlier for call to actions, this basically shows good for accessibility when there's 2 contrasting colors that basically don't blend together. So for example, bad contrasting colors here, it's just basically lighter shades, so you wouldn't put white and grey together because you're just not going to be able to read the text or anything of that matter, right? So that's the 5th mistake. 6th mistake, so neglecting A/B testing. Now this can be applicable for both email and also your sign up form. So for example, on email here, only split test one thing at a time. So for here, it's literally just the image versus not having an image. That's one thing that's split testing here. Again, sign up forms, just split testing an image as you can see here, and again you can see the effect on the sign up rate percentage just by doing so. Lastly as well, call to actions. I would definitely advise split testing different colors for call to actions, and even if it's like for example an offer here like only 40% today, I would say get 40% off as a call to action to test. Just small things like that. So things to split test: color of call to action buttons, color layout of the entire email as well within your brand guidelines, incentives to split test, so how you actually frame your offer or just different offering as a whole, titles, so design and language used for just headlines essentially, copy as well, big factor there, so it could even be the angle that you're going for the copy, but you keep the design the exact same. And then finally, imagery. One thing I will include here, which I haven't, is just subject lines, but that's not really involved in email copy, but it's still something you should definitely test. Now, mistake number 7 is overlooking analytics. So there's only 3 sort of important analytics that you want to assess when it comes to basically the results of A/B testing. So your open rate is, of course, the percentage of people who have actually opened your email out of the list that you've sent, of course, that email to, right? Click rate, again, is just the percentage of people who opened your email and clicked the call to action on the actual email. So they've gone to the landing page. The placed order rate is essentially the percentage of people who've converted after they've clicked on the call to action. So they've gone to that landing page, then they've bought the product, right?
I'm going to show you something that might shock you. This Klaviyo account is currently generating $60,000 per month, which might seem pretty good, but after auditing over 300 plus email accounts, generating millions for brands like Citron, Lumi Therapy, New Recover, and Bulldog Gear, I can tell you with absolute certainty that there is an additional $20,000 to $30,000 that we can add to that current monthly revenue stream. And in this video, I'm going to show you our exact step-by-step audit that we do for every Klaviyo account before we bring on a client. And this is the exact process that we have used to take brands like Native Smokes from doing $89,000 per month all the way up to $200,000 plus per month. So whether you're doing this yourself or just checking to see if your agency is actually doing a good job, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to audit your own account like a 7-figure email marketing expert.
Cool, so let's go into how to audit a Klaviyo email marketing account. Now, I'm going to show you the exact process that I take when I have my first discovery call with a potential prospect, from A to Z, what KPIs we go through, where the missing revenue actually is. And then I say at the end of the call, hey, look, this is how much potential revenue you're missing out. And then I say, look, let's get you that guaranteed growth that you're looking for. It's a simple equation. And rather than going through the complete technical analysis, which I put in this entire document, this is a really in-depth procedure. Let's not waste either of our time here and actually look at what matters. So this is a live example. This prospect came to me in December. I'm looking at these exact dates here. I saw they was doing 126K in a total revenue, and they was doing around £56,000 in attributed revenue from email, 37% to be exact. Now, some would say 35% to 45% is actually really good. We know we can push that needle even further. I usually see around 40 to 60% in email revenue for all of my clients across the board. First thing I look at is the campaigns and flows. This should be around a 50-50 split. Depends from niche to niche, but that's sort of an average that we see. 31K from campaigns, 15K from flows. So let's go ahead and look at the campaigns. The main thing I'm going to be looking at here is the open rate, click rate. Placed order is obviously out of our control to an extent because this is to do with the conversion rate on the website, but obviously the email, how it's persuasive, how it's tailored, and the angle is obviously going to help contribute to that conversion. But the best thing we can do as an indicator here is look at the click rate. The higher the clicks, the better the emails performed in persuading them to take action and visit the website. Across the board, around 1%, 1.2%, 2% here. It does obviously depend on A, the list that they're sending these emails to, and B, has this got some form of offer, scarcity? What is the angle of this email? So to get a good understanding of this, I'm just going to look as a whole at what list they're sending this to. If they're sending the list to all of their subscribers, it's an indication to me maybe they haven't actually looked at their deliverability, so we'll get into that in just a minute. But I can already tell last day for Christmas delivery, all email subscribers, that's actually had 27% in open rates from that email for all subscribers that they've sent it to, 0.22% click rates. This is a little bit low. I'd usually see around 45% once you start sending this to the clean and engaged list, which you can see we've started to do up here, okay? And already the performance has started to improve as well with these emails that we've been sending. Now, let's go a bit further down and see all these different lists. EU customers, NI customers, so that's Northern Ireland, I'm assuming, okay, 26%, still a little bit low, 2.2% in terms of the click rate, no revenue. So automatically, I know there's a little bit more revenue we can pump out of these emails. I would say 40 to 45% open rates is a good standpoint, and then 1.5 to 2% click rates is even better as well for the click rate percentage. Let's actually go ahead and open up one of these emails. Subject line, countdown to Christmas delivery. A bit broad. I would make this more specific to the customer's needs and actually make it more emotive to what they can get with this Christmas delivery. Preview line and last chance to get free festive box. Too long, way too long. This is going to get snipped on the preview, so you want to be mindful of the preview text. It should always complement the subject line, so they have actually complemented the subject line. I would have this offer in the subject line because it's a lot more compelling, and it's going to get snipped in the preview line when you're looking at the notifications for the subject and preview line. Let's actually open this email up. Okay, nice cover image at the top. Last day to order for guaranteed Christmas delivery. Order what? What's in the box? Not too sure. Tomorrow is the last day to order for guaranteed Christmas delivery. So they've already sort of mentioned this twice.
they're repeating themselves here. So we can already tell the copy is not to its standard in terms of the AIDA principle. That's attention, interest, desire, action. That's the framework you should be using with these emails. Shop now button. If I'm on desktop, I have to scroll past this huge cover image. It's taking up too much space, does not need to be this big, and it doesn't really serve any purpose, to be completely honest with you. Essentials to get you through the long days. KB power bank, add to cart. So this is already a big no-no. Shop now and add to cart, add to cart. So they've got multiple call to actions. That should be the same call to action throughout. And if it's guaranteed Christmas delivery, I would even have the call to action as get guaranteed delivery. Don't run out of your tech essentials. Barely read this text as well. And then they've got shop now, shop now, shop now. So they're actually repeating, I think, some of the same products as well with this dynamic product block. Really, really unorganized email. You've worked hard, you deserve a gift you really want. Doesn't really make any sense as to why they've got this cover image. More shop nows. You can see how messy this is, right? And then it's claim my gift at the bottom. What do you actually want me to do here? I have to really dig to understand what I need to do. Then they've got shop now, pay later with Klarna, and pay securely as well. Join us on social media. There's a lot going on here. Have they optimized this for mobile? They have, but again, if you're on mobile, you're going to be really squinting to see some of this text. So from a design and copy perspective, I instantly know that we can do so much more here and make it more visually digestible and follow that attention, interest, desire, action principle, the AIDA principle. So that's how I analyze the campaigns. So next thing I do is go and look at their flows. Let's actually go back to December, and I'm going to just do the 1st to the 15th because we did start on, I think, the 24th. And I'm just going to go through and just count these flows that we've got here. If there's way too many flows, you can see there's like 68 different flows. What you want to do is just filter this by revenue. So, okay, the welcome series here was that top flow that was getting the most amount of revenue. Then they had a SMS flow. Again, I actually tie this in with the welcome series just to make it a lot easier for you to monitor what each individual flow is, and you're not fluctuating between email and SMS. There's just no need to go ahead and make separate flows for this. Abandoned cart flow. Okay, so this is also an issue that I see a lot of brands doing. They've got a checkout started trigger for an abandoned cart flow. So this tells me they might not have an abandoned cart flow. If I scroll down, again, checkout started. I'm not going to go through all of these because, again, you can see there's only a few flows here. They're actually getting revenue, but it looks to me like they've not got an abandoned cart flow. So a lot of people will go ahead and set up an abandoned checkout flow and name it abandoned cart. Don't ask me why, they just do. This should actually be called abandoned checkout, and then there should be a trigger that they set up for abandoned cart. They've got a placed order flow, so I'm assuming this is a thank you series, and then of course they've got a browse abandonment flow. So they haven't got a site abandonment flow either. Doesn't seem to be producing a lot of money from their win back flow, and they don't have a sunset unengaged, so they're just building up their profiles. They're not cleaning their list, which also might affect their deliverability as well. Cool, let's go ahead and look at our welcome series and see how this has been set up. And I'm going to change that to December, and the analytics open. If you can't see any analytics, I always turn the analytics on. Someone's been added to the newsletter. They've got a trigger here, conditional split, has placed order at least once overall time. So if they placed an order, they then get put into a thank you for your order flow. This makes no sense. This should be in a post-purchase flow. So already I know there's some technical issues with their setup of their flows. This should not be in this series. It should be in a thank you series. And to be completely honest with you, if I'm looking at this glance, let me just open this up so you can see this as well. So if I open this up, you'll see cover image at the top. Thank you for your order. Shop now. On behalf of our entire team, blah, blah, blah. Can you be bothered to read this? Because I can't. 9 times out of 10, if you can't be bothered to read this, your customers can't. We want to make sure these emails are visually digestible, skimmable, and straight to the point. I don't know what's going on here. Now prep guide, get access. Okay, so instantly I can see it's just creating communication issues. If I can't skim over this and then it's telling me to get my now prep guide, it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why this is, the first email within their welcome series, producing £521. And then if they are obviously not a purchaser, this is their welcome series, as you can see here. So open rates 50%, click rates 11%, and then placed order 11%. Cool, so let's open this up and see what is inside of here. It's the exact same email, but the difference is use code for your first order. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so I hope you can see what I'm seeing in terms of strategy. It's completely misaligned. They're also sending their second email 3 days after they've received their first. When somebody's been put into the welcome series, you want to be top of mind. People have obviously only just heard about your brand. It's not spammy if you send them an email 1 day after the other for the welcome series. You want to be top of mind and keep it fresh. 3 days is far too long. Okay, and you can see the placed order rate on this is remarkably low, so a lot of missed revenue on this as well. That's the flows. I'm not going to go through any more flows you can already see that there's a lot of revenue missing when they've not got an add to cart sequence. They aren't cleaning their list, and that also completely misaligned with their flow strategy, the copy, the visuals, everything can be updated, okay? And definitely improve their performance in terms of retention, lifetime value, and also that overall revenue. So let's just look at that previous strategy. Payday sale is live up to 50% off. Good offer. The only problem here is there's a lot of friction. Add your birthday, your email, and your phone number. I would go ahead and change this to maybe a 2-step or 3-step email if you really do want to collect customers' birthdays. But first step should obviously be put your email in, claim offer rather than sign up. People don't necessarily like to sign up for things because it's more of a commitment. Claim is more of a reward. Claim your offer. Okay, so it's just a bit of language that we can change to help improve that overall percentage of signups. Let's come off of this. Okay, so they're currently doing around 6% with this pop-up. Honestly, I usually see around 6 to 12% without giving away 50% of the margins with that first coupon code. So that's definitely something that we can do to help improve their margins and also their sign-up form percentage by removing the amount of friction with giving out your phone number, your email, and your birthday. Other than that, let's go ahead and look at the list and segmentations. Anything that didn't have SC is a list that they didn't already have. So we've gone ahead, we've set up the clean and engage segment. So this is obviously for your sunset and engage flow. Inactive users as well, 180-day suppression ties into this flow here. Never engaged with an email is a segment we've set up. We've also set up the placed order in last 2 days, VIP flow as well, set up a VIP segment. There was a lot of segments they was missing. We've also set up bounced as well as a segment, spam traps. They didn't have any of this. Okay, so there was a lot of issues with their spam rate and subscribe rate and so forth. So you always want to check what list and segments they've got set up. The last metric I look at is usually the deliverability. Now, anything above 80 is deemed as good. If it's less than that, there's definitely stuff that we need to work on. If the open rates are low, it's because the subject lines are poor. So if you want to see all these metrics and how you can actually improve these, I've included this in my common red flags in list health. You can go ahead and check this in that document. If you do want to see some more technical analysis beyond obviously what I've gone through in here, you can go through this document and it will show you everything that I know in regards to the technical aspect. But that is pretty much it. That is all I really look at is the campaigns, the flows, sign up form, and also the deliverability. The only other things I would potentially check is the integrations. Is this integrated with Shopify? That needs to be enabled, and also to see if the domains have been verified. And you can see that within your settings, domains, and you'll see this should say active as well. Okay, so that is pretty much everything. If we go back to the last 30 days, you'll see we've been working with this client since the end of December. We've increased that attributed revenue percentage to 45%. An additional 20K has been added from our efforts, and also the overall revenue has gone up as well.
So there you have it. This is the exact process that we use to audit hundreds of e-commerce brands every single month. I've now worked with over 100 plus e-commerce brands and guaranteed growth every single time with this exact auditing process, and unlocked hidden revenue in the thousands, even millions for these brands. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool, I've found an issue or a drop-off point in my account. How do I actually go ahead and fix this? And that's where most brand owners get stuck, because finding the issue is one thing. How to fix it properly, when to fix this first, what order you need to take, and how do you prevent this from happening again? And that's where experience comes in. This is exactly what we do every single day to help e-commerce brands fix these issues and get more money with that email marketing. So if you want us to go ahead and audit your Klaviyo account for completely free, show you where that hidden revenue lies and how to fix that drop-off point, just click the first link in the description below, and I will see you on the other side.